It's like transliterating now. I feel let's see. Transliterating? Yeah, that's when you translate literally.
Okay, so that's definitely not a word.
Okay, all right, hold on.
What's not a word?
And if that is the word, you 100% used it wrong.
Transliterating.
There's no way that's the definition.
Look it up. Look it up.
No, yeah, that's. Let's see. Transliteration refers to the method of mapping from one system of writing to another based on phonetic similarity.
Yeah.
That's definitely not what you said, stupid.
That's what I said. Here's the definition. Let me link it to you.
I just read it. What are you talking about?
Let me link that thing that you just read.
I just read it out loud. Okay, so you clearly weren't listening. Jesus Christ, this is prime pre-show material, by the way.
Are we even live?
We are live, yeah.
Oh, we are? Oh, nice. Good. I held back some of my gamer words. Thank God.
Canceled. What? We are canceled. We didn't even get to the main show. Season 4 is off. We've been canceled.
Oh boy. Hello, everyone.
Okay, so I'm
bonus host.
Bonus.
What is Mark's favorite game? It's everyone's favorite game. Metal Gear Solid 2.
Sure.
Commonly known as the greatest video game in existence. I don't actually believe that, but it's one of my favorites. Oh man, the jokes write themselves here. I was gonna say Pong or something.
Pong? Yeah. I did have Pong. Not quite that old, but I do remember playing Pong, yes. In the arcade. We couldn't afford a Pong machine.
Morbius on the DS.
Morbius. Oh, what was that? What was that game that I had on Game Gear?
Game Gear? Yeah,
I had a Game Gear.
No, I was asking what it is.
Game Gear is the Sega handheld that was competing with Game Boy. But it was like in color and much clearer, but Game Boy just dominated it. Black and white, dumbass Game Boy completely dominated Game Gear its entire history. Was really sad because Game Gear had some good things. Yeah, I mean, it had all the Sonic games, of course, but there were some weird ass games on the Game Gear. That's what I had. That's why I never played Pokemon. I didn't have a Game Gear or a Game Boy.
I see. But you're into Pokemon now. Is that your favorite game? Whoa.
That's my favorite game.
It was a misdirection. Talking about how little we played Pokemon.
The Pokemans. The Pokemans.
Shadowheart High Gamers.
We are all
Good evening, duelists.
We are all playing the Pokemon right now. Pokemon Go. My entire family.
Ah, nice.
All is well. Blind Eye's here. Yin is here. Shadow, Cross, Excalibur. No one's subbed though, so I mean, I shouldn't even say your names. I'm not even going to read your name unless you super chat.
You might as well be nameless if you don't subscribe. Did anyone hear something?
Win is here.
Didn't.
Oh, Lego Star Wars. That's a pretty good guess. Older though.
I like those games too.
Yeah,
those are also my only real interaction with the Star Wars franchise. That and I saw episode 7, and then that was it.
There you go.
I need to finish Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
How did it end?
I have not watched the final 3 episodes. My son is at camp all week, so and they were gone. obviously.
I haven't seen the final one, but
people who care about the plot are not happy.
Yeah, the lack of fanfare that it wrapped up probably does not bode well.
Oh,
I read what happened, and I can see why they weren't happy.
Care about the lore that deeply.
Just from a making sense perspective.
Oh, making sense is overrated.
Yes.
This is FF7R all over again. People,
I will destroy you.
People are like, oh, they brought back this thing I love, and then it just starts making less and less sense the more they add on.
Hey, Emiliano Garcia has subscribed. That was free. Thank you for the subscription. Who's well? Everybody here, I think, is maxing Kane. I think everybody. I think everybody here is maxing.
I'm getting Kane's FR, so I can people are like Kane's FR ages terribly, and it does, but it'll feel damn good on those first 3 fights.
It's worth it, right?
Yeah, and it'll get better later. So.
No, all you enjoy your 40-minute runs with, hey, Tree Void, YouTube, just subscribe, check out.
I'm about to be gauge charging with Pinello, doing damage with Kane, and beating the fight in like 15 minutes. Yeah. And you guys who are determined not to pull any FRs until Titus.
I'm gonna use Cisne.
Oh, man.
Laguna.
Yep. Not going through that again.
There are lots of options for those of you who don't want to pull Kane, but it's gonna suck. It's gonna suck.
It's like terribly, but you're gonna have to work for it.
Well, the first one, I don't know which of the 3 is the worst, but
the third one,
know.
Yeah, the third one, Broska,
without any FR.
It's as we've learned this week, dealing with multiple mechanics as a fight in a fight is foreign to a subset of the population.
Yeah, that's tough.
Killing the CPU in a certain order. Getting waxed with double BT and Layla. Nope.
There were a ton of guys in JP. I remember very vividly when this dropped in JP because I was watching everything. Tons of tough guys pulled for Kane out of frustration. Like a lot of people in our own community who were saying skip Kane, maxed out Kane. I remember very vividly that Final ASIM raged in the fight. And then through resources, not that he couldn't afford it. He had over 1 million gems, like most of you people do. But like the fact that so many people are saying skip when these are like tough guys saying skip, like these are people who did use like at least 2 featured characters for T9. I think
people forgot like how the fight was because it's been so long.
Like the problem is that a lot of people see what some of the best players do. This is like watching an Excalibur or Destroth video saying, okay, this is what we should all do. When literally, like it's literally the Excalibur video. Was it T9?
Y'all are watching LeBron like
exactly.
It's freaking easy, man.
Let me just jump too.
I saw so many people link Excalibur's video and say dual realm Gala for T9, and I didn't see anybody else pull it off. Like
the Snowverflow threads. Look at how big this damage is. All the top comments are always, "How do I do this?"
Seriously. Like,
so I'm saying this for months.
I'm saying like these are some of the worst players I've seen in the community saying I'm gonna skip until like Cam FR, and you can totally do the first month without an FR, and these are people who are gonna pull instantly like that.
But it's true.
I got asked how long you can skip FRs. I'm like T10, y'all. How long can I skip for? No one ever skips.
You know what? This is a drinking episode. I'm gonna pour a little cup.
All right.
I'm worked up already. I'm mad already.
Stupid default players. Welcome to our podcast.
Yeah.
For you, the stupid default player.
Let's pull a modern corpus.
Did you know? I didn't realize Josh stalks this our show as much as he did, because apparently last week was last week the one we were talking about Edge.
Yeah,
and I was like insulting the stupid Edge infographic, and then I was chilling at his stream later in the night, and he called me out. He's like, "So, I heard you talking shit about the art choice on the show or something," and I was like, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I thought he used to say he like very casually listened to things like it's on the background while he works and stuff. But now I'm 100% convinced. Sometimes I don't even see.
He's got the noise canceling headphones and like.
Yeah, I don't see his name in the viewer list a lot. I don't know. He might be fucking invisible.
What's those shades called? Like the blackout shades.
Yeah. Shit, what are they
noise
called?
Canceled room.
Shit,
the TCC the TCC VOD is like on a 60-inch screen.
He's in a.
It's the TV. No, he's actually watching it on VR.
Yeah. No, he's got his Oculus. He's in a sensory deprivation chamber.
So many times these last few months, I was just like, I'm like, Defo. I'm like, oh, thank you, GL devs. They put in exactly what I wanted. For, like sprinkle GL exclusives in, put in some hard fights. Now I know he's just been fucking stealing my ideas.
Josh, play as Stride, by the way.
Yeah, I'm working for free here, apparently. Like, holy shit. So we need to add. I don't give consent for Square Enix to monitor this podcast. I don't want to be recorded. I'm not signing any release forms or any shit like that.
No, he listens to it on his favorite podcast app. In his
the only podcast.
Yeah. Oh well, there are others that call themselves podcasts. They don't seem very popular.
Bars.
Multi-month, once you've been doing it for like a year and you're, up to 12 viewers, that's not good.
Oh, wow.
Still, it's because it's not on your pod. You can't call it a podcast if you don't have a podcast.
This was sponsored by Mark.
This is sponsored by Mark. This game isn't popular. This game sucks. We all hate it. I like fish sticks too. Hey, Redbeard's here. What is going on, Redbeard? What are you doing, man? Excited for Lion FR? Who's her partner going to be?
Riku. Calling it right now.
That's a good one.
No, if Riku releases, Lion will be the FR partner or something. They're the same character. That's a slam dunk.
No, that is a slam dunk. Yeah. Ferris.
Oh yeah, or Ferris or
is
Maria
a pirate.
But I mean, Riku is basically
Layla's a pirate. We have lots of pirates.
Layla's taken.
Got a lot
She's
of pirates.
Dash's animation.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Is that how it works? Are you sure? Are you sure Kane's not going to show up at least 2 more times before the FR era is done?
I'd love for him to show up some more times, but I don't think he will.
I heard Datamines had him in Ricard's FR animation.
Ah, yeah, nice. Real reliable Datamines.
No, Pons, I'm not talking about any...
Pons says, I mean, like, all the other ones share a bunch of the same hosts. That's true. Blind Eye is on every single other talk show. Like, I'm serious. Apparently, we have, like, 21 Defo talk shows. Every time I randomly check into one, Blind Eye is there.
Blind Eye's part of the Defo Mafia.
Yeah, he's on the live stream every week. He's on Historia Crux every week, basically. He's on the fucking... what's that show? The new show that just came out with multiracial and Trevoid. Does it actually have
From the Void?
From the Void.
Oh, that's terrible. If I was browsing, I would think that's an Echoes of Mana podcast, especially since he plays it. Like, I don't know. I think
I was not. Just so we're all clear, I was not referring to any one of our friends, any one of the talk shows that we have talked about on over the course of the last 4 years. None of our streamer friends. I'm talking. There are some that I've just found out about from people that I don't even remember their name, very truthfully, who are doing this. That's how ridiculously oversaturated the Defo talk show circuit is. They're not very successful.
Bunch of people who like hearing your voice.
Or very well, because some of them are literally, there's multiple people, but they don't know how to record, so there's literally only one voice, and then large sections of silence. After a year of doing it, that's not a good look. I'm not great. Like this is not my wheelhouse. Nothing that's happening right now is my wheelhouse at all. I kind of picked up the pieces because Pierre did all the prep work, all the behind the scenes stuff. So I kind of picked up the pieces and learned as best as I could to do this. But yeah, you'd hope after a while, just like Defo, you'd hope if you've been playing for a few months, you'd learn some stuff. Or if you come on to our Discord and you ask a question over and over again,
wow,
you might.
FFRK is going end of service.
Oh, what?
Was that just announced?
Yeah.
Really? Well, that's not good. That's not good for Depot.
Oh, did Blind Eye send you that? Because Blind Eye just sent it to me. Thank you, Blind Eye.
He also did send it to me.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, like I said, Blind Eye's
everywhere. Blind Eye's everywhere, man. Blind Eye's everywhere. He's here.
The joke is that he's not blind. He's all seeing.
He's here.
I honestly assumed, and this probably isn't going to be the end of the cuts. I assumed that with Ever Crisis coming closer, they're going to make room. They're going to make room.
Yeah, we're gonna cut down. Well, speaking of cutting down, let's start the show. We all ready? Y'all ready? We got a bunch of people, so let's start this thing. Hey, in cover your ears, take off your headphones. In 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome everyone to episode 198 of the Crystal Chronicles, your Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia podcast, recorded June 23rd, 2022. Remember what month it is. It's June. I'm Mark, your host, and I'm not alone. I'm joined by my good friend and yours, Mino Spellgood. Mino, how are you doing this evening?
I'm hanging in there, Mark.
And we're also joined by our good friend, Black Nero, Black Cloud, Black Nero on YouTube. BC, how are you doing tonight?
Living the dream.
Living the dream. Taking the week off from the ranting hour to be on the Crystal Chronicles to talk all about the upcoming Doom, which is FR era, where we will all probably cry because that's every time there's a change in era, we're all going to cry. Yes. So let's cry together. Let's cry together. Hey, friends. Speaking of crying, I didn't have a good segue there. Speaking of crying, has your significant other ever told you that you need a little work down there? Well, go to our friends Manscaped at www.manscaped.com for all your personal grooming needs. Check out the Lawnmower 4.0, the Weed Whacker, all their personal care products, so that you can be confident and not cry when things get hot and heavy underneath the sheets. TCC Pod for 20% off your order at checkout. TCC POD. Let them know that we sent you. Your balls will thank you. Again, manscaped.com, TCC Pod. Thank you, Trevoid and Selly, for the subscriptions. You can subscribe. You can super chat. You can become a member on YouTube. All those different things. Support us. We appreciate that. Well, last week we had some trivia. Which community member completed the impossible April Fool's TCC challenge? Podoceder did do some work for us. The impossible challenge was from the Trey debut event, where the extreme challenge was to take no breaks with versus those imps that instant break you. We did not think anybody could do it, and it ended up being Ricky Shu did it, and also Destroth. Is that correct?
I don't know. Sure.
If you're in there, it may have been Excalibur, it may have been Destroth. Yeah, I think it was Destroth.
That's when I first learned about them. They're insane people.
So shoutouts to Excalibur too, great player. But shoutouts to they were imps. I don't know, Cross. They were whatever they were. Anyway, it was super hard. It was super hard. Yeah,
The
the Gala Cats, I don't know. Trey's event. Go back and look at it up. This week, interesting. I'm not even, this is a stretch. This is going to be hard. From some random episode that Poto Cedar's been listening to in his of free time as he's fishmongering. He asks, what's Mark's favorite game? So let your guesses. What is my favorite game? It's tough. Yeah, but it is really one of my favorite games. And it's old. It's older than some of you. No, not quite, but it's pretty old. Hey!
Jack and Dexter.
It is. It's Jumpman. It's Jumpman. I really big fan of the Jumpman. Oh Lord. Well, hey, there's been stuff. There's no costumes that are new. There's nothing exciting happening in terms of rewards. Everything else, we're just kind of in a malaise of a little bit of content here and there before, of course, the next Squex community stream and what will begin a new era of weapon tier and a new era of difficulty. So let's finish out the year. I do not have in our outline as we recorded last week. You can check that out. We did talk about Edge. We talked about that a little bit. We did not talk about the event. Mino, was there anything in that fight with Edge intersecting Will that we wanted to cover? Fairly straightforward, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, let's talk about the fight. Apparently this was giving the community some trouble.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, this and the recent one. No,
yeah,
seriously.
We'll talk about this
the last three fucking. Yeah, let's talk about this fight because I saw an abnormal amount of people ask for help on this fight. So
yeah, this is the CPU fight. I liked Edge intersecting Will. I thought it was a pretty interesting, as the stories go, pretty fun little story. But the CPU, you have the defense node, the main boss, and the attack node. And the orb appeared at the battle start. It ticked up if you dealt electric damage or thunder damage, or if the player deals HP damage to all enemies in one turn, or if the player evades an attack. It ticked up a lot. So obviously Edge hits all the boxes, and if you brought Edge, you're probably not having much of a problem. But beyond that, not a lot going on besides you had the attack node and the defense node. And you have to be careful how you kill them because they have less HP than the CPU. This is a fight we've done. How many times have we done this fight? And this is a classic Final Fantasy fight. So you don't want to kill both the minions, because if you do, it will, what's it called? Concentrated laser. And you can, Excalibur has the great infographic here. Cleanses all debuffs, dispels all buffs, deals 90%. M-Brave is HP damage to a random target, inflicts the HP. The max HP down on target, revives both minions. So not ideal for that to happen. The only thing in terms of the thresholds is 29% runs enhancement program, cleanses 3 debuffs, buffs the party. It buffs them with the Brave Damage Resist, HP Regen, and turn rate up and attack up. Besides that, the defense node is healing, the attack node is attacking. So, Mino, what's your... or what have you seen people struggling with this particular fight?
I'll take there's some minor differences in this fight. I'm just going to plagiarize In's work in chat right now. Thank you, In. He's saying CPU does a buff wipe attack if you kill both adds. The heal node heals a percentage of max HP this time, and et cetera, et cetera. But what's really killing people, which is so fucking funny, is that they just gave the attack node less HP.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's it. And it's so funny because people, especially when they're running Garnet or they're just taking the orb condition at face value and spamming AoE attacks, what happens is if you only spam AoE attacks, the attack node will die first no matter what. And then the healing node, the defense node, is just spamming heals on the main CPU, and then if you kill that, it's spamming heals on itself for about 3 million because the HP is so high. So then people start getting soft locked and can't clear the fight because they can't out damage 3 million heals per Orb turn. So what it is so many people are used to Unga Bunga spam AoEs, and it's just so funny that all they needed to do was lower the fucking attack node health, and people started locking themselves into the fight. And the thing is, like, you most commonly saw this complaint of people running Garnet because they did not know how to pump the brakes on Garnet. So Garnet's attacks and the follow-ups.
Well, the follow-ups, right.
Yeah. They're just murdering the attack node, and then all of a sudden they can't out-damage the fucking heals anymore. And
yeah, for reference, the main CPU has 30 million, the defense node has 20 million, and the attack node only has 10 million HP.
So it's just hilarious that, like, this was like the first sign, I guess, that garbage time is really, dare I say it, weakened the average skill level here. People like switching to either bring a delay character to make sure that the defense node never goes off, or focusing a single target damage. Like, this is just lost on a lot of people now. You have no idea how many people brought Garnet and just fucked themselves just because they didn't know how to focus their damage. And, like, I'm going to hand this over to BC, because I know BC was fucking talking a lot of shit, saying, like, I had no idea people would struggle with this fight. And so, I mean, yeah. Do you have any insight on
I'm sitting
that?
there like, all right, T9's got a lot of health. Like, there's a lot of margin for error here. But this, like, the Edge IW, like, I even messed it up once. I brought Sice and Laguna and out damaged it and got stuck. And I was like, oh, whoops. So I just focused and then beat it the next try. And I guess you haven't talked about the next fight yet, but, like, it's just like a mechanic or two, and just simple, like, thinking slightly ahead, and people just crumble. And it's not like it's a majority of people, but it was happening enough. It was happening more than usual. Like, it was enough to be noticeable. And like the Reddit threads of there was a couple Reddit threads of people getting stuck, and there was, like, with that team of, like, Garnet, Layla, and Aiko, like the most defensive team possible, and, like, so scared to let the bosses act and do anything. Like I don't know. Next week's about to be hilarious.
Yeah, but that's it for the fight. This was an unexpected slap in the face. So like T9, we expected to give people trouble, and it did. Whatever. It delivered. Like, a lot of people struggled on it, and there's a good amount of people who are saying they're gonna wait until they get, like, FR characters to come power creep. Completely fair. T9, tough fight. But then we thought, I'm pretty sure our circle of content creators thought, like, Edge IW and King Heretics were going to be a gimme. So this was quite a surprise. So just mentioning it on the books, guys. The solution: delay that fucking orb, or bring more single targets. Stop mindlessly spamming AoEs.
Yeah. You can delay that and make that a lot easier for you. Well, let's go over to the King Heretic event. Hopefully everyone remembered how to do Heretics. It's not really that complicated, but
I don't know why it's still in the game.
It's still a thing that happens where if you don't bring
GL first super difficult Heretics PC, then you'll be like, oh man, Heretics is a good format. They just need to make it harder, like the boss rush, right?
Whatever.
All right. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, so we got updates to Jagran, that guy, Shrek. He got a C90, and now he's really great, right? Mino, he's super playable. You're gonna run him for the next 7 months.
Pass PC.
Okay.
I will argue in favor of Jagran.
Really? Okay, here we go.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yep.
Go ahead. All right, say it.
Go ahead.
All right. So solely, I want to say I'm the smartest person in not just the Defo community, but the world at large. And I came up with this on my own, but I'm pretty sure I didn't. But the big criticism of Jagran pre C90 was that the guaranteed damage, brave damage, was good, but he was completely outpaced in HP damage when you could easily gain your way and then HP damage up your way through it. However, amidst Force, having that consolidated self-sufficiency, like that is raw self-sufficiency in the face of elemental lockout, being able to drive those, because he will, even if the element he's hitting is reduced to 1s, if he hits the, why am I blanking? The rainbow, Jesus. he can drive that himself. And I think that is strong enough of a sell for him to. I think he's probably his kit makes sense. Though. That's what I want to say. His kit makes sense. I'm not going to say he's like top of the line DPS, but he's got a space to sign now. So I'm putting some respect on his name. His HP attacks aren't pitiful like before. It's more like just on par. And if you, like I said, he can really drive some stuff if you set him up right. So I'm not going to say he's broken, but I think he's probably above average now.
So I agree with that, but I'm so glad, like, it's been so long since we've had, like, a third co-host, and I can play the bad guy. So just to play the bad guy, here it is. No, yeah, here it is. It's I don't dispute any of these points. I just don't know how you could sell this character to anybody. Like, in theory, no, I'm serious. In theory, everything you say works, but there's so many people singing his praises that refuse to invest in it. Right?
Yeah.
So, for example, like with like Historia Crocs and Cross, it's very understandable. I think they were talking on the show, and it's like, yeah, Jagron is good, but would you personally pull and green him for this? And then
I got the rest of his kit.
Yeah, and then a lot of the co-hosts
did it too.
Yeah. And that's a fair question. But the most damning evidence is that Jagron has like the most fanboys I've ever seen of any character in Final Fantasy. And
I disagree.
And
he's got the most annoying fanboys.
None of these fanboys are willing to invest and run this character. So, for example, like Simply Lost, he made this huge video saying Jagron C90, amazing meta game breaker, right? But to this day, he still has not greened his Jagron. He just did it, but
that's also not true.
He ain't gonna fucking run it. Oh yeah, he just greened it because he hit the 40 members. He ain't gonna run Jagron and Shinryu. I'm gonna fucking throw that out there. Asti's not gonna do it. Zodi's not gonna do it. I'm calling all of these fucking people out. That's how bad this character is when your biggest fans won't run the character. And you got like Theologica running Lightning for like 4 years, right? Yeah. So I'm gonna throw that out there and play devil's advocate and say that while this is true, I don't think people are willing to sink their limited resources into this character for that purpose.
I think pretty much everything you just said is false. Like almost all of it. I think people are going to run him just fine. Also, shout out to if anybody gets it twisted and thinks that people hate Jagron because he's Jagron, no, we don't like the annoying people. Because I watched Soul's recent Jagron video was so funny.
It was
because of the strike
funny.
Edits. Yeah. So it's never about the character. It's just annoying people. That being said, I think we should put some respect on the character. I've considered doing it, but then I consider maxing a lot of people, and then I never use them. So I try.
When's the next time he reruns? Do you know?
Yes, Lillicet FR during Reigns' BT cycle alongside Shulk.
Okay, so a couple months off. So basically, if you regret your decision now, you have a second chance to pick him up later. Because I know a lot of the conversation, and I don't like to talk about too far into the future, but a lot of the conversation is later on when fights are more restrictive, especially with elemental absorptions and stuff. Like, he can skip it, and I know there was, like, a lot of arguing between, like, him versus Setzer, and then we talked about, like, self-sufficiency being a big thing,
consolidated.
Right?
Having a lot of good things consolidated is good.
Right. Like, it's better to have Jagron, who does pretty good damage in your party hitting rainbows, rather than bringing Setzer to allow other people to hit rainbows.
It depends on your team.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Setzer plus off-turn, better. Jagron driving something selfish in a BT phase. Also good.
Either way,
nuance, but this is the good thing about Shinryu. There's options. So I for that reason I changed my mind, and I think it's worth putting respect on his name.
Yeah. Either way, I'm not going to dive too deep into that because, as we said, a second chance will come to pull for him. So I'm not going to be pushing for him now for early Shinryu.
I think it's important to emphasize if the prospect of punching through ones sounds like fun to you and a unit that doesn't really care about it, I think Jagron's your unit.
All right. Take that.
And it's fair to say that just because some of these characters, Edge, Jagron, King, go back how many characters here over the last couple months, just because they're not going to have the force enhancements available to them immediately, some of them get it not too long in the future, doesn't mean they're useless in the next era. It's not like
it's not
like as of next week or 2 weeks from now, every character we currently have is dead in the water. You have to have FRs. Everybody's got to be FRs. Everybody has to have enhancements. You know, there are redeeming qualities for some of these characters. And as BC pointed out, the self-sufficiency of Jagron with his magical rainbows.
I think it's just a free come up if you've already greened him.
Well, yeah, and again, I don't know that anybody is arguing pull for Jagron right now. Heading into a new era, heading into a new difficulty. But if you already have him, why not? You know, if he's going to get C90, you probably already greened him. If you greened him, you're going to get some good use out of him. I do think it is fair for the people who are the most annoying about characters like these, you know, kind of the hipster characters. No one really likes.
It's not exclusive to Jagron, by the way. Rydia fans are worse.
At least Rydia is from a main game.
It's pretty much the character. The character stands are almost always annoying. Like whenever Mino talks about Kane, I just have to like stop listening.
Are you kidding me? I never talk Kane up. How fucking dare you? How often do I honestly
Jack and your bullshit like Asian family comparison? Don't get me started on your bullshit. Don't get me started. I hate you.
All right, fucking spreading lies on this fucking podcast.
Character sagas are the bane of my existence. How about that?
Yeah. So make sure that you at Mino of your character saga for Jagron.
Oh, yeah. Better see those Kadaj sagas.
Yeah, better. Well, hey,
Speaking of which, Jet's Crush came in the other day. I guess he's been running a Thancred saga. He came in the TCC Discord, and he asked, hey, guys, when do you think is a good time to stop doing a saga? And
the secret is to never start.
Yeah, don't ever do it.
The secret is to never start. But I want to make it public. My fucking answer was as soon as it stops being fun, because I don't know why the fuck you're doing it once it stops being fun. Are you just proving a point or whatever? But as soon as it stops being fun, stop doing the fucking saga. You're not like fucking bound by a contract, guys. Just play the game to have fun.
Yeah, word.
Well, we got a new LD.
Don't do sagas.
Don't do sagas. We also got an LD, and that is King. Final Fantasy Tactics. King, if you're not familiar with him, his kit was pretty easy. You press skill 1 until you ran out, and then you press skill 2, which reloaded skill 1s, and then sometimes you press DX. And if you're really smart, you knew that you could get an extra consecutive attack if you broke enemy. And that was pretty much his kit. Ranged attacker with some ability to attack a lot. Now, his LD does make him a little bit more interesting. He unbreaks all the enemies, gets a new buff, which allows him to upgrade his HP attack to I think it's called Double Bullet in the English version of the game. It consumes 2 uses of skill 1. So basically, he burns through skill 1 a lot faster, does a considerable amount of damage. I think it's 6 HP dumps on the special attack, making him, again, a big, fat ranged damage dealer. Consecutive turns, does have the unbreak, which is really nice, or the remove break status. That's the official in-game language. Played around with him. He's doing whatever damage compared to everybody else. If you got that ultimate weapon gun, that's probably nice. I don't know how useful he is moving forward at all.
No ultimate gun slander.
No, that's what I said. If you got the ultimate gun, hey, and you want to blue him and stick him with some other people, he's really good in this event, which apparently some people struggled with. Not if you have King. King made it real easy.
No, I've seen people fail with King.
Really? With King?
And I'll tell you what.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that. But I've always liked King. You press buttons and he shoots things, and it's real. It's pretty idiot-proof. There's something to be said for fairly idiot-proof kits. That being said, you do have to kind of know what the buttons do, and know when to reload. So I guess it's not the most idiot-proof kit. It's towards the idiot-proof spectrum. But it's not like Squall. It just doesn't matter which button you press. Just press a button, you'll be fine. It does matter which order you press the buttons in, I guess, when it comes to King. So, Mino, what were your thoughts on King? I got him. He's upgraded. Whatever. But
so really briefly, I like the theory of his kit once again, is all these garbage time characters, not the execution. I don't think he's going to hold a really hold up. But the theory of his kit is the LD rebreaks now with reload, meaning getting his consecutive turns is very easy.
Super easy.
For newer players, he's a Jack-like character where a break gets you a free consecutive.
Is Jack the most recent instance of that?
He's a king-like character, because wasn't he the first one that got it, or maybe like
Is
Lightning?
He the first one?
I think Lightning was.
Maybe Lightning. Maybe
Lightning. I think he got it with EX. I'm pretty sure it was Lightning.
Well, Jack is the most recent one, so I'm saying Jack-like character.
Was it really? I don't want to believe that. No, because Lightning got her C90. Lightning got her C90, stupid.
Nobody fucking played C90.
What are you talking about? Theologica is arguably a person.
What did we?
Theologica's arguably a person.
You literally said I have you clipped for last week. You were in the chat last week saying Theologica and Excalibur are not people.
I said arguably.
So anyways, so he gets a free consecutive turn when he breaks, and now that S2 rebreaks, and he got an LD to rebreak, which is so he has two options to rebreak.
Yeah,
and I'm going to tell you one of the reasons I've seen people fail with King already is because they S2 to just to rebreak, and then they run out of skills. I'm not kidding. I've seen that already, where people do not reload optimally, and so he has a lot of options to access his gimmick, which is very nice. And the biggest complaint was that his damage was too spread out over too many turns, as so many of these characters are. Like look at Current Lightning. But the thing is, they changed his HP plus to up the tempo. The only thing his HP plus does is functionally make you cast S1 twice.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It literally is the S1 animation
twice.
Same attack, same potency. So all it is he has more control over his tempo. He can take a lot of actions to do the same amount of damage, or he can wholesale dump that to do it twice as fast in case he wants to like reload again faster, or you just want to do more damage in less turns. So I like the concept of it. I don't think his numbers are going to hold up at all. BC, any thoughts?
Doesn't he have 8 HP attacks on his special HP?
Yeah, I think so. And I think the S1
that is by definition holding up.
Yeah. It's just 6, isn't it?
It's whatever.
I can't count.
S1 times 2.
Yeah, S1 is 3 HP dumps with splash, and the double bullet, the HP is 6.
Dumps. What are those?
Yeah.
It's 6, really?
Yeah, it's 6.
I could have sworn it was 8. Oh, well, yeah, I just definitely can't count. Well, I think 6 is still especially if he lands a break. That's still
6
good.
is competitive, but that's only on like one skill, right? Because he still wants to take the free consecutives, which is not going to do well moving into Shinryu.
Well, if it's 6 HP attacks, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good amount.
I guess.
About average.
I guess theoretically, they adjusted this for Shinryu because, with the 10 turns of force time, you don't want to be doing the free consecutives. But if he's only doing the HP plus for 6 dumps each time, it's a free and instant turn on break. So I mean, technically, right? I mean, if you're counting, although that doesn't want to do that.
That doesn't. Right.
Well, that's also. I mean, if he's the one driving the damage, that's fine. Plus, since it's a transformed HP attack, that'll hit a number of conditions.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Kale Raven's saying the HP plus also has low turn rate, so it's slightly delayed.
Yes.
So that's also even better for force time.
Wait, it pushes him back? No, it doesn't.
No.
It speeds him up.
It makes him go faster. It's high turn rate.
High turn rate, low
is it high turn rate? I don't know.
High turn rate. Yeah, it's high turn rate.
Okay. All right.
Same as rapid bullets.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say he's above average. I'm gonna say he's probably like right in the middle ish.
Yeah.
But he can hold up. He can hold up just fine.
As in, like, if you really wanted to, I feel like you could take him to the first cycle of Shinryu, but I don't think many people will. But he probably can do okay with Kane's stupid conditions.
I think he's fine. I think the real downside is the gun ultimate weapon, because that's not a competitive weapon.
Yeah, that's a very good
when is the looking forward, like in the FR area, what's the next FR gun user?
Balthier is the only FR gun.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's
not true. Jesse is now.
Oh, Jesse's got a gun. That's a great song. Yeah. So not a lot. But hey, you're gonna get that Laguna for a while too. So get Laguna through few Shinryus. Then keep it equipped on that Laguna Call. There you go. She has Uzis. Oh, really?
Uzis are guns. Excalibur.
Uzis are guns. Yes. In America, that's small stuff. Who uses those? All right. Well, there was a fight which gave some people problems. It's one boss. It's a heretic king behemoth, and it starts with its attack here, or it starts with its orb. Wow. It starts with its orb. Yes, it does. Where the hell is this? It starts with that's what we call them, the Lufania orbs. I don't have to worry about that as of next week. That's right. The Lufania orb only ticks up if a player, if one of your characters recovers 2 or more different abilities. Quite a few characters can do that. Not an unending number, but a few.
The important thing is that you have to actually recover the abilities.
You actually have to recover the abilities. So, right, if you have not used King's Skill 2 or Skill 1, for example, and you try to press the reload to reload it, won't work, right? But that does tick it up completely. It just goes down on player action, doesn't go down on its action. So off-turn damage is obviously a very valuable strategy to deal with orb management. It's got a lot of HP. It's got 40 million HP, and it has 2 thresholds, the 49% and the 29%. It cuts in front and gets 3 consecutive turns. So it can do a lot of damage real quick if it is not mitigated somehow. You know, you got all kinds of different ways to mitigate it, whether you're using Warrior of Light calls or whether you're using Raging, you know, all the or, you know, just general debuffs. It does also grant itself Mighty Roar, which is non-framed generic debuffs that include Eye Brave, Attack Up, Defense Up, HP Regen, which is the big one, and Brave Regen. And at one point it does, or every time it does that, it does gain 1,000,000 HP shield. So those are the big things, and apparently people struggled with this. So Mino, tell me about that. That's exciting.
So first of all, I guess it's been a long time since we've had boss warp turns.
I
guess because
is that true?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think that's
that was a
true.
big complaint, though. I've seen so many people say, "Why is the boss warping fucking turns?" And I'm like, "Is it really been that long?"
That's a thing bosses have done for quite some time.
I saw a comment on one of the Reddit threads like, "Oh no, I'm never dealing with any warp nonsense." Layla immediately. I was like, okay.
Yeah, like I feel like it hasn't been that long, but apparently the fact that this has warp turns at all is pissing people off. And the second thing is the recover 2 abilities thing is apparently too hard for people to grasp.
Yeah.
I literally saw somebody come in and say that they took hours on the fight and that the orb must be bugged because sometimes they would hit reload on King and the orb wouldn't go up. And I've seen so many people need to explain that you need to recover 2 fucking abilities on the character. And that means either 1 and 1 of each, because people will bring a Stola and then only spam S1, never press S2.
Oh, okay.
Recover the S1 and the orb wouldn't tick up and they die. Or King needs to recover at least 2 uses of his bullet. So if you HP plus or something, you're fine. Or if you S1 and AA, right? So, like, you need to recover 2 abilities. This was too hard for most of the community.
Everybody should have pulled Shulk. Everybody pulled Shulk. Everybody should have pulled Shulk.
And so, like, it's insane. And then I think somebody brought up
fresh Shulk LD without having used any of her skills.
Somebody brought up in another server. Didn't we have this exact orb in Shulk Lufania Plus? We did, and yeah. I don't know, man. I think people really
these people weren't doing endgame then. That's the answer.
Yeah, exactly. People.
That was during Bane's fight when people just gave up.
People really forgot how to play. I forgot how many of the banned people in TCC have said that garbage time is good for the player base because it lets new players learn the game.
Yeah,
but that's clearly false. Pro athletes don't get better at their craft by beating up elementary school kids. You know, if the resistance is not there, how are you supposed to improve? I don't understand why people thought garbage time would let bad players or new players catch up to veterans. If anything, I like I said, we did not expect these 2 fights to give anybody any difficulty. It's kind of fucking mind-blowing that it did. And now I can't wait till Shinryu hits next week. Any thoughts, BC?
Nope. You pretty much nailed all of it.
Everybody should be using Squall, first of all. And Excalibur says you can, Squall's AA and his LD recover skill 1 and skill 2. But
actually, what I do want to say is we used to expect more from the general player base.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
good.
This is
the bottom of the barrel.
This gonna be.
Garbage time is a new standard.
Turn warps twice. And it buffs itself.
Just twice. That's
it.
Just twice.
Twice. They come the Chad Vane fight that worked if you acted too many times, like 8 times in a row with no indicator.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
This shit worked twice, and there's an Excalibur infographic.
Yeah, we know the thresholds. Real simple thresholds. Real simple. 49.29. Not you can memorize that. It's 4 numbers.
That's it?
2 numbers technically. So wow.
At what point is the game expecting too much of its players, right? Like the immortal quote.
Yeah, I used Rem and King. That was really, really quite simple.
Smoking that Lufenia pack tonight. Good night, difficulty.
The funny thing is, I saw a thread come up on this fucking fight saying, "Thank God this is the new the last Lufania Plus fight, and we're moving into Shinryu, so we don't have to deal with bullshit orbs." And
good luck.
I want to see how well that ages. Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck. Good luck, everybody.
Into the discussion for later. But
good luck.
I had something I wanted to say on that too for the bring who I want crowd.
Yeah.
Good luck. Hey, well, we're going to talk about FR here, era in a few minutes. But before we do, we already mentioned it, but shout out to our friend Soul Defo on YouTube. Really, his intro to his Jegron run of this King's Heretic event. Really funny, really well done. Soul's always a lot of fun. I always enjoy watching him stream and watching his videos. Very insightful player. So looking forward to watching him in the FR era as well. So shout out to them. And Sinewave, well, shout out to our friend Sinewave as well. Nice, funny and also somewhat helpful.
Over edited.
Super edited. It deserves a lot more views just for the work. I always feel bad about all the views we get compared to people who actually must spend a lot of time making videos. Because Lord knows we don't spend any time doing this.
Sure don't.
And so go to Sinewave, search Sinewave FIFO with an E, and
make fun of the fact he likes FF2.
Yeah, and his recent video on FR era, about 5 minutes long. It's worth a watch. Very, very good. The link should be in our notes as well, as he's one of our good friends. So yeah, give him some likes, give him some subs. He deserves it.
I wouldn't call him a good friend.
No, he's a terrible person.
FF2 fan.
Strong acquaintance.
Drama
I'd
queen.
say hi at a party, maybe.
This is the Smelfy army. good part of the Smelfy army. Hey, I'm not sure that we're gonna have we'll talk about it. But anyway, we do have a supporter corner question. If you want to input your questions and your answers, you can always become a member on YouTube or sub on Twitch and link to your Discord, and there you go. You get some private channels. So the question of the week by our TCC intern, Podoceder, how will you play... oh, wait, I forgot completely, because I don't care as much, but let me do this. Shout out to Quetzalma and J.A and the good work that they're doing here for the Materia bot polls. So let's see how many people pulled for Kings. We only have 4 servers doing this one. I don't even have one for Jegron because why would you pull for that if you didn't have it? 4 people chasing the BT on this. That'd be Vincent BT. 5 people King LD. 36 tickets. 47 skipping. That's probably why people were having trouble. Pull for the characters, then you win. That's how it works. But how will you play differently now that we're entering a new era? So here's the responses from our community. The question: how will you play differently going into this new era? JD Terrafor says, use gems without abandon. That's going to go well. Treevoid says, Treevoid says, going all in on off-turn damage. A lot of people agree with that. Crush. Jets Crush saying pick different FRs to play around with in GL compared to JP. Obviously good idea if you play both versions. Final ASIM, use Uteroth for as long as I can. I don't know if that's serious or a joke.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Enjoy whatever that nightmare scenario is. Daniel.
Don't do that.
Our good friend Daniel. Daniel's going to switch it up and pull for everything in this era as opposed to the previous era where he's never pulled for anything. So Martyr says going to green more BTs and blue more armors. Probably not a bad idea, especially if you're pulling for BTs. You should probably green them at this point. Shadowheart with 0 resources and lots of regret. Well, he says with 0 resources and 0.1% regret and 99.98% winging it. So good luck, Shadowheart. Sleuth says, I will never play differently. Thancred for life. There you go. Tell says, play JP. Going back to GL when resources run out. Reroll, rinse, and repeat.
Wait, who said that?
That was Tell. No, that was Tell.
Oh, Tell. Oh. I was like, I knew Tell was toxic, but Cell too?
Yeah.
Probably also.
C-Sam's. No, go ahead.
Oh, I've seen Cell be very snarky in main court, so
yeah,
I wouldn't put it past him.
He has. C-Sam says, I'll start.
Main court?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was more of a, like, he does this everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, C-Sam says, I'm going to start building a force bar. I don't know what that means, but good luck with that. Indolent Lard says, pressing non-damaging skills repeatedly. Come on, Iggy. I'm waiting for Iggy domination. Deotic says, whatever gets me the win. Hey, I think that's fair. Tudik says, pull on every banner knowing you might not be able to fully limit break the force weapon. Yeah, maybe not the best idea, but good luck. Good luck to you. Yin, I'm going to use all my UWs and not feel bad about using off-turn units. Again, I think you can use your ultimate weapons, and you can use off-turn damage. That's okay. Frank says, lots of laugh if you don't use swimsuit Cisne on every fight. And again, good luck using Cisne on every single fight. I'm sure that's gonna be fun for a couple of weeks. I think I've used Cisne on one fight. Like every character. It's gonna be tough in the FR era when I have to, use characters more than once. All right. Well, thank you all for your responses. Appreciate that. And I'll always check that out if you are a YouTube member or a sub on Discord or a sub on Twitch. You can share your answers to the next question. So, FR era is upon us. We do have the Squix community stream on Monday, which we then assume will be the announcement of FR era with Act 3, Chapter 8, Part 1, I believe is the first event in that era, which will bring us our first Shinryu fight and also a new weapon type, the FR weapon, which will be featured on Kane, who will also be getting his burst as well. So, what is FR era? Well, I just kind of defined it for you, but Mino, what other things can you add into the basics of what is FR era?
Sure. So how I envision this is I had some frequently asked questions. I will give my perspective as someone who hasn't experienced it, just reading in from a GL perspective. Then I'll let BC add in anything he thinks I missed or clarify things. And then Mark, if you still have any questions, because I believe Mark didn't do like extensive research on it, so he can represent the layman here. We can just cover the topic completely in that fashion. So we're getting a new weapon tier, force weapons. And what that does is it brings the force gauge in to the fights. The force gauge, once fully charged, can activate a force time, which is 10 actions of amplified damage and effects, and then reset and repeat. And you can only activate a single character twice a fight. So to break it down, and I thought of a million ways to do this, and I just thought, you know what? TCC caters to veterans and hipsters. So really, let's just tackle it from building on the knowledge you already have. And I'm sure other content creators will be trying to explain it from scratch to newer players. But I feel like a lot of people, for veterans, a lot of people are overcomplicating this system. This is just building on stuff that we've already seen and played with in DFO for fucking years here. Okay, so I really feel like this is just bringing the EX gauge and burst mechanics to a team-wide level. We've had individual EXs, we've had individual burst phases, and Force is just a team-oriented version of both. Charging the Force gauge is a team-wide effort. All team members charge it, and it charges with the same conditions as the EX gauge as well, including like turns taken, breaks taken, etc. There's all these little tiny actions that gradually build it up. And once it's built up, you just cash in with a Force ability, and you enter a sort of a burst mode where it's 10 actions period that depending on the character, build bonuses based on certain conditions, which we'll reach to. So, for example, Kane will be the first FR. If he activates the Force time by using his FR ability, once the Force gauge is charged, you get 10 turns where every ranged attack and every launch attack adds 5% to the team's damage done and HP cap. So it's basically like an ultimate weapon, right? Like, again, these are building on all mechanics that we've built before, except it applies to the entire team. Instead of just multiplying Kane's damage, it'll multiply the damage of his teammates. And basically, how you want to envision it is a team-wide EX gauge into a team-wide burst phase where the bonus damage is done from team effort. And that's it. And the only thing I want to add is that with each person, there is a condition that builds the bonus, which is like, again, a team-wide ultimate weapon or blue armor. And you're rewarded for bringing more teammates that fulfill that condition. Do you think I missed anything there, BC?
I don't think so.
Do you have anything to add to it?
I don't think so. I think because the tricky part is I've been doing it so long, I've lost perspective of what I don't know. But I want to emphasize that right now you build teams around the orb, and with Shinryu and FR, because they take the orb away, if you don't want fights to take forever, you build your team around the Force you're going to drive.
Yeah,
and that radically changes the way you approach fights, and it puts for the people who complain that Lufenia orbs didn't let you run who you want to run. Now you are giving the opportunity to run who you want to run, provided you can build around it. So I think it's better for player creativity. It enables those sagas if you're insane enough to do that. And I welcome the change.
I do like that insight. And TV was saying that he sees it as like a player side Lufenia orb, which I guess is kind of close to what you were saying. And the only thing I want to add is that for us veterans, this is just an extra layer of buffs. All right, like every tuning pass, we get one extra thing to manage. So if you're playing the game already, the first thing you're looking to do is upkeep your buffs. And then the second thing you're looking to is EX charge is another thing that they're trying to make more relevant with C90. And then you add call durations on there and then BT effects as well with the green. So like ideally, a lot of veteran players consciously or unconsciously practicing Snoverflow, you're already trying to line up as many buffs as possible. Right. So like obviously the
even
goal,
with Machina, trying to optimize burst phase. Yeah.
Exactly.
Very similar.
So like this is not a foreign concept to veterans. This is just another layer of the fucking Jenga tower here, where basically anyone who's run Garnet Machina or Snoverflow is familiar with this concept. You're trying to stack all the buffs at one time to maximize your damage. So you're trying to make sure all your buffs are up, all team buffs and auras are up, all the fucking calls are up, because a lot of you guys optimize the calls. And
you're pressing buttons that satisfy the condition.
Yeah,
that's the other, because your abilities matter. So like, there's certain FRs that, like for Aerith, for example.
Yeah, green.
It's what's it called? Special bravery HP attack that batteries the party.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And so like your Gladio will hit that because his HP plus batteries the party. Galuf, Arciela, if you put a Cecil RF on her, she can hit that. Stuff like that. So it expands beyond just setup and just calls to like exactly what button you press and optimizing your damage per press.
Yeah, and like BT effects and everything, like if you do what you usually do and just line it up with force time, you're going to be fucking fine. right? Like it's not that, it's just an extra layer. And the last thing I wanted to add on to what BC was saying is that it makes the game more team oriented. Because what he said with the button presses, you're kind of more conscious of your team, right? So for example, like if somebody's FR condition is modified HP attack, so you want to bring people whose HP attacks transform into something, right? Like kings, then you're trying to think of a team that of 3 that does that. And a team of 3 that fulfill the FR condition is gonna, because it builds up such a big bonus, is much stronger than just 3 meta characters like Garnet Machina, etc. Right?
Yeah.
So the game becomes more team oriented. It's team gauge, team burst phase, team building. Like, I think in theory, it makes collecting a wider roster much more rewarding, and it makes team building much more rewarding. So with all that info dump, Mark,
a couple things I want to clarify. First of all, if you're watching, if you're listening right now live, obviously, and you want to ask a question about FR, anything that we're talking about, feel free. You can super chat or you can sub on Twitch and just write your question in the sub comments, and we will make sure that we answer your questions. If not, we're just going to talk. But yeah, a couple things I want to clarify that, just because it's always worth clarifying things. The force time going off is not 10 consecutive turns where you are uninterrupted. Unlike, because you've compared it to burst a couple times. So when you hit that FR button, you don't immediately go into 10 interrupted turns where the bosses can't do anything. Correct?
Oh, sorry. That was
yeah.
I thought that was a statement.
No.
Yes, you're right.
I am clarifying, but yes, just to be clear,
it only goes down on player actions, and this includes calls and additional abilities. So hitting A during burst is during FR is a massive damage loss.
Yeah, so no, I just want to make sure that people don't think that, I'm going to press the FR and I'm going to get a uninterrupted 10 turns to do things. That's not how it works.
Yeah, good call.
The other thing that I think is important, which you both mentioned, and I just want to make sure everybody's real clear on, is every FR has different conditions for how to increase that damage potential. So, Mino said Kane, it's rain damage. BC said for Aerith, it's using an ability that batteries. So there's a variety of different conditions across the entire game. There are going to be some that are a lot easier than others. See the second cycle of the first month, but it does. It kind of widens the roster a little bit to really say, hey, I really like this mechanic, and I can build a team around this, or I really like this. And so I'm kind of looking forward to it, because I think, team building's always been essential in Default, but it feels like, crafting characters that really make your team well is going to be even more important in this era.
Excalibur had a question, sort of, saying the 10 turns goes down even inside summon, right? Correct.
Yeah.
It will go down. There is no pausing the countdown. It will go down during burst. It will go down during summon. It will go down during AAs and instant free turns. No matter what, if you press a button, it will go down. There's going to be a lot of nuance, whether you want to stack summons or burst phases in force time. But once again, we're not here to fucking hold your hand.
No.
You guys can experiment with it, and you hipster fucking challenge runners will probably come up with really crazy stuff. But just know that it's just an extra layer. Burst, summon, force time, you can layer that however you want to maximize your damage.
Yeah, and if you're bringing, obviously, if you're bringing a BT character and 2 people to charge the gauge, you can move into that burst phase to try to optimize your damage potential there, obviously. So,
yeah. Keep in mind the same rules apply to the enemy's force gauge, because that's the whole deal with Shinryu difficulty, because they also get one, and theirs only goes down on their turn. So if there is charges, so each gauge charges on every turn. It's always going up. Your gauge charges more on your turn, and the boss's gauge goes up faster depending on how low their health is or some other extra conditions. But if enemy's force time is active, unless you were able to cancel it via your own force ability, and this is usually due to some condition built around synergy. You got to let them take turns. That's the fun part. You can race it, but that is a thing.
Yeah, agreed. For example, the very first one has an HP poison per turn taken. So during their force time. So if you like lock them in and try to no turn them, you're gonna get murdered by the effect. So like it's not always a good idea to turn hog these things.
And depending on what happens, depending on how their force gauge grows and what happens on each tier of their force gauge, they have other things that happen. Like they have different thresholds depending on how big their force gauge goes. So it's not just about the boss getting their force time off. It's about the boss's force gauge growing and different effects happening throughout that. Especially as the era progresses, it's going to get a little bit more interesting. There will be mechanics that you might have to pay attention to, I believe.
And BC, you said you wanted to mention something about investment cost.
Yeah, I did. I don't know what to say, but check out Nidre's site, or I should say it correctly, FFFOO tip. He has the resource acquisition. They switched it up the second month of Shinryu, and I'm gonna be real. I have not once paid attention to the rewards we get. I just don't look. So I couldn't tell you how exactly. There's like 4 shards and 4 stones, but don't worry about that. Just know you should be careful with your character board points and only give people LD boards if you're low on them, or buy Mog Pass.
Oh, that's actually the next question. Unless Mark, you wanted to add anything to.
No, we can start moving into it because I think that's a lot of now.
Oh, I had one thing I wanted to say.
Please.
Sure. This stuff all sounds really like weird, but once you like play a little, it'll make sense like immediately.
Yeah, and I just want to definitely emphasize that like at a base level, when it comes to just completing content and playing the game, you don't need to be super knowledgeable about this stuff. The same rules of default usually apply. Like if you're running synergy characters, this should be no fucking problem. The thing is that there's just extra layers for people who really want to deep dive into it. So for example, you could like pull an obscure force weapon for say like Lilith had something, build a whole team around that, do crazy stuff, or you could just stomp it with the strong character again, right? Like this isn't going to be so alienating that like more casual players are going to be shut out of Shinryu. If anything, the fights are not always scaled well to the player power, so you could just like follow formulas and win. But what this does is it enables this community of hipster challenge runners,
weirdos,
who really engage and have fun with the game and build some crazy teams. Like you could probably start running like eventually someday like a Palom FR, Thancred FR team or something, and still do the fights when everyone else is running like meta synergy, and it's perfectly viable. But like it just opens up more options to engage with the game, which I think I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, so I was going to say, so the next sub, and a lot of people are talking, I think this is now that the King event is over, the conversation is, oh my God, what are my resources going to be like moving into that? So that's kind of our next couple sections here. The first being FR enhancement, which we don't know what that's going to be called in the global version of the game, but we'll call it FR enhancement at this time. They are going to change once we get into next week. There will be
Mark, 1 second.
Yeah.
Force enhancement, not FR enhancement.
Yes, sorry, force enhancement. Yes.
Force enhancement.
Yes.
Force is different from
force. FR is the weapon, yes.
FR is the weapon? Is that working? FR is short for force!
Wait, that didn't come out right.
I'm confused here.
No, because FR is the weapon. But you enhance the... God, I hate it so much! Square is a stupid company.
This is how I differentiate it. FR enhancements and FR boards. Eventually we'll get FR boards.
Force weapon boards, force enhancement.
Boards? Are you fucking serious? You're gonna add it?
Angry.
Oh my God. Okay. Force enhancements for the sake of this fucking episode.
Yes, because it's sorted to FE. That's the common thing. So if you kill people, FR enhancements.
This is gonna be a fucking like
a nightmare.
FOD, whatever, like it's gonna die when the
So what we're gonna talk about first is the things that you use character points for, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Force enhancements. Okay.
The big thing that's freaking people out now is moving forward. Right now, every event, if you don't have a Mog Pass, you get 5,000 character enhancement points, right? Character points. If you have the Mog Pass, you get 10,000. Well,
15. Is it 15?
10,000, right? It's just 10,000.
Isn't it 15 and then 30 for the premium?
No, this is current right now. Now.
Sorry, current.
Now, you get 10,000 if you have the Mog Pass, regardless of what Mog Pass. If you don't have it, it's 5,000. 5,000 without 10,000 currently. Starting next week with the next event, it's going to be 5,000 for the free folks. The basic Mog Pass is going to stay at 10,000, but the premium Mog Pass will be 30,000. That is an issue because you're going to be able to use character points on force enhancements. So Mino, tell us a little bit about force enhancements as you understand it, and then BC can help clarify anything.
Right. So force enhancements are basically the next sort of crystal levels mechanic, where basically every character that reruns is going to get this little boost they can get using character points. So it's a new sync for character points. And very generically, what it does it just lets the characters charge the gauge faster and do more damage when the gauge is high. So they all have a condition where when the gauge is at least 80% or higher, they all raise their HP damage and cap and potencies on their skills. So what it just basically makes them a little more relevant to it. So there's going to be a lot of characters like Penelo getting these, even though she's not getting an FR weapon anytime soon in the beginning, but it'll make her very viable for the team because she'll charge the gauge faster for the people who actually have weapons, and her, skills are basically stronger to interact with the force gauge. So it's not too dissimilar to like a crystal level or a rework, where basically it's just like a stronger buff to their kit, but revolving around the force gauge. And before I move on to the cost, do you want to add anything to that, BC?
Yeah, and if you're like Excalibur's, like I have 600k reserve. Yeah, I think in JP I went into it and I'd Mog Pass like three basic Mog Pass like 3 times in JP. But I've been playing since character boards were a thing. But I went in there with a bunch of points, and I think I'm at like 200,000 now, maybe. So if you don't like throw them all around the place, you will be fine. There's strategies that I can't detail. I know Sinewave explained it somewhere.
Yeah.
If you go to like 20, but there's also something really weird, and I think Cell knows this. Actually, no, that's actually too detailed. Let me keep it high level. Never mind.
Yeah.
But I mean, the basic thing is the more free to play you are, the more careful you have to be in terms of using your character points.
The same old whoever you use most is who you should be investing in.
Right.
And don't it's better to go all in than go halfway on a bunch of people.
Yes.
Because the first level is 5,000. It's just straight up character. There's 30 levels. The first 10, it's like, and it gets stronger with every 10. If you just go the first 5,000, if you just spread that out across a bunch of characters and you don't have Mog Pass, then you're gonna run out very quickly. So you gotta focus it down. And the big thing that people get tripped up on is they get the impression, no force enhancement, therefore not viable, and that's really not the case. It just makes your run smoother. It's not a deal breaker. It just if you're running characters, that's why the first month was a little bit harder, because when your gauge charges faster, you probably don't have to deal with the bosses as fast. But if you're running a really slow gauge team, then yours isn't going to get up there as fast. So whatever. Go ahead, Mino.
I was going to say, to rewind a bit, when BC is saying first 10, second 10, etc., we didn't cover that yet. Is that the force enhancements? There's 30 levels. So similar to crystal levels, it's in groups of 10 where the requirements increase, and you uncap them with these force stones. Okay, and so basically to uncap a character, you need 2 or 3 force stones BC?
That I don't know. I've been. I think there's stones and there's shards, and I don't know the relationship between the two. And I also know you get some sort of reward for maxing an FR. I don't know how those work. So check out Nidri's site for that.
So I can kind of shine a light on that. So basically, I believe you need 3 stones, but it might
be 2.
It might be 2. So how it is completing the Shinryu fight will get you 1, and maxing an FR weapon
eventually. I don't think that was that true initially.
I'm not sure actually.
Yeah,
but,
I don't that yeah.
To get the resource basically is you need to do the Shinryu fights to get the mats for these stones, and also maxing an FR gets you a stone right off the bat.
Yeah.
So right. So
they also give them for free in monthly things. I think they give them in the bingos, or is that high power stones? Man, I really don't pay attention. I legitimately don't know. I just collect.
Yeah, no problem. But basically, the method to get these guys, to clarify one more time, is to do the Shinryu fights and max FR weapons. The fastest way is the max FR weapons. So you are rewarded for pulling and spending if that's the route you want to go. I don't want to hear any of this bullshit of I can't do Shinryu fights, so I'm blocked off from the fucking resource again.
Right.
Because the best way to get them is the MLB.
Just a couple things. Cell did link their enhancement board point, so they do have an info. Shout out to TonberryTroupe.com. All the beautiful infographics, but they also have other information. So they have a guide for FR, and they have a nice infographic, and they also have Rem's infographic from Dissidia Database when he put that up when this came around in JP. And then he linked under the enhancement point section of Tonberry Troupe. Sinewave has a Reddit comment that also explains it as well. And so there are a couple resources if you want to dig a little deeper into it. But we also got a question, just interrupting, from Theologica. Shout out to Theologica Gaming, who resubbed, appreciate that, and said, asks, are the hosts gunning for Kane's FR? So that is a question I think we can all answer very quickly, and I think the answer is yes. I think all of us... I think all of us, I think all of us are going to fully upgrade Kane immediately.
I've waited 4 years for him to be good.
Yeah, right. I mean,
okay, but
can I give some insight on that real quick?
Yeah, please.
Sure. I plan on maxing Kane because while the FR doesn't age well, it's going to be very good those first 3 fights, and I'm not going to spend hours on those fights like I did in JP. I want to blow them up.
I was gonna say, and
it will be good eventually.
I was gonna save this discussion for later, but while BC is bringing this up, there's a lot of fucking tough guys out there who are planning to skip FRs until something meta. I've seen up to Cam, which sounds reasonable. I've heard up to Tifa, which sounds fucking bonkers as shit. All of these people are not the best players. I keep a track of who does impressive runs. And all of these people who are... First of all, guys, you guys are struggling on fucking Edge IW and King Heretics. And you're going to fucking tell me you're going to try the first cycle of FRs without a fucking FR. First of all, you're a fucking liar. All right? And second of all, like, so many people... We push against this all the time. But saying that you don't... Okay, BC says not everyone's a veteran. But for the veterans, do you guys remember the jump to chaos and how much easier the EX weapons made things? Like, do you guys really, like, how many people do you guys think could have done the first cycle of chaos without an EX weapon?
Oh man, legendary. Oh, why did JP hype this era up? This fight wasn't that bad, and then it was all the NPC team of Cloud, Warrior Light, Trillado.
Yeah, so many people invested so hard in Cloud EX to get through the initial month or 2 of fucking chaos, and you're gonna tell me that most of the player base is skipping FRs till Cam? Look, I don't know what is wrong with this fucking community. But pulling a weapon to get a good
people.
Yeah, pulling the weapon to get a good 2 weeks mileage is that's good mileage. So many people look down on 2 weeks worth of use, like a 2-week meta unit. But why? These are fake resources that you've all hoarded up to millions of fucking gems, and you're telling me you can't, throw like 150k of that to making a smooth transition into a new era. Like, I think the Pawns asked early in the show, what's the estimate to a State of Shinryu post on the Reddit? And I'm going to say the first fucking week.
All right? First event.
Going to be the first event. Week. people are gonna be like,
gotta pull for Kane, can't beat it without Kane.
I was promised I can just charge the gauge and blow things up immediately. Why can't I do this?
We have so many, like, the funny thing is that, like I was saying in the pre-show, there's so many people I've seen, like so many JP players that are advocating for hoarding resources until at least Cam, who buckled instantly and maxed Kane when the first Shinryu fight came out because they were having so much difficulty. Guys, once again, I'm going to say so many people pointed to Excalibur's video of saying, T9's not that bad, you can duo this with Galuf and Realm. And then I haven't seen a single other person duplicate that. Like, you guys are pointing to the best players, as BC would say, you're pointing it to like what LeBron can do. And
you're pointing at LeBron dunking and saying, "Oh, that's easy."
yeah, saying basketball is easy. You're pointing to the best fucking players and saying I can do that when most of you guys are like running Garnet and can't do Edge and King fights, which
also
is
RNA isn't King's that far. So that's
guys, it's must pull.
What? Must
pull.
I think this community is gonna get a big slap to the fucking face in a week because so many people think they're good enough to do this. Right? And to say, oh, Kane FR sucks because Cam comes out 2 weeks later and can multiply the fucking bonus by like 8 times the amount. You guys are fucking idiots. All right. And so anyways, before we jump into that topic, which I was going to say for later.
I do have clarification on the Force Stone, Force Shard thing. If I just want to throw out the numbers, you need 1 Force Stone for level 11, 2 Force Stones for 21, 3 Force Stones for 30.
Yes, TV. Sorry, I was going to quote TV. TV said in chat, it's 3 Force Stones total. You get 2 for maxing an FR weapon.
And really?
Yeah, and one for beating the fight. Yep. So if you pull and max the featured character and then beat the fight, you will be able to max 1 character. But otherwise, it's 1 per Shinryu fight, 2 for maxing the weapon, and then whatever is going to come later with choco boards and stuff. But that's not the first month. That comes later.
And this is
we also don't know what they're going to do in GL.
Yeah, this is GL. We'll get free stuff. You know we will.
Man, if they don't give us early fucking ingot bundles, I don't know if they're going to give us this shit.
No, yeah, they are stupid. Why? Like, come on, give us 4 stones. Come on, Joshua. This is your chance, buddy.
Yeah,
4 stone packs. 4 stone packs right now. I'll buy it tomorrow. Well, I mean next week.
To sum it down is if you're free to play, these resources are as rare as say blue books or BT ingots right now. You can realistically have enough character points to max 2 characters a month if you're free to play.
I don't think it's actually. You said blue books, so maybe never mind. I don't know. I think it's a little more than that, but
2.5, 2-ish. If you're getting 5K an event, right? Like, and then you need.
Actually, I rescind all that because I have not counted.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think a statement like that is better. I think we should actually measure.
Yeah, underestimates, but so if you get the regular Mog Pass,
treat it like that though.
Yeah, if you get the regular Mog Pass, it's about 4 characters a month, but eventually, if you've been a regular Mog Pass purchaser, you're never going to run out of points.
Right.
If you even start just now, eventually you will have excess points because you're not realistically maxing every single fucking character. So as long as you have the Mog Pass, you're going to be fine. If you have the Premium Pass, this isn't even a fucking issue, and I don't want to hear you
let's just stop for a second because it is 15,000 on top of anything else you're investing in that character.
Yes.
Yeah. So you know, if you get 30,000 a month from 6 events, let's say, without any of the passes, yes, you can fully enhance 2 FR or two enhancements, force enhancements. But if you have to use those for actually other boards, other character boards, you might run out. So obviously,
don't do anything besides LD boards.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then there's I think the strategy that BC.
We didn't even talk about high power stones yet, did we? Jesus.
We haven't.
We didn't jump into that.
But
I don't feel like that's that complicated. But anyways, the last thing to say is that I think something BC was skirting, but I'm just going to mention right now, is it's very viable not to fully build the force enhancements for the characters.
I was going deeper than that, by the way. It's something I need to. Yeah,
but
it was
all I
something
wanted to
I
mention.
had a very hard time explaining.
Yeah, all I wanted to mention is partial investment will work, and that is fine, and that's what many people are doing, especially free to play. And again, since this community is catered to veterans, all that means is, do you remember partially maxing out LB your EXs?
Like,
your EX
any. I mean, any transition we've ever had in the game. When we first got EXs, we all didn't have, well, when you first started playing, you didn't have MLB'd weapons, and then when
still hasn't used a single red ingot.
he probably hasn't. Then when we got the books and the ingots for EX weapons, you couldn't fully realize them. Then when you got originally when we got character points, you weren't able to fully invest in every single character. I mean, this is part of the transition of the game. So if you've been playing a lot, you're used to it. Obviously, if you spend money on the game, it's going to make your life easier. If you don't, you're going to have to be a little bit more picky on what you invest in, a little bit more careful. But if you're new and this is your first transition and you just started within the last 3 months and you got all these, whatever the new player rewards are, which are massive. It might be a little shock because you're going to have to start being restricted on what you're doing.
Yeah. Ultimately, I just wanted to say, if you're the most free to play, which I think most players we talk to at all are at least basic Mog Pass. If you're the most free to play, treat these basically like blue armor or BT plus resources. And then if you have any regular subscription at all, don't even worry about it. Honestly, don't even fucking worry.
I mean, BC said it best and has said it throughout throughout the different eras. Invest in who you want to use. I mean, it's if you go as simple as that, that's not a bad strategy moving forward. Invest.
It's not like
in who you're
I follow that rule all the time. There's definitely characters I've enhanced that I like Reigns. I maxed his stuff and then haven't used them in a single fight. It happens. Just try to avoid it. Yeah. Also, I want to qualify Mino's partial investments. It is specifically, this is why I didn't want to get into too much details. It is force enhancements 23 out of 30 on damage characters, not force, not gauge charges.
Okay, yeah,
that's
you can just leave it at that. Yeah,
that's why I didn't want to go too deep into it because I couldn't. But I'm sure Cell, the post he linked, could explain it better.
Yeah, and then moving on to high power pieces is officially what it's called. This isn't going to be complicated at all. Basically, FR is a new tier. We need a new tier of power pieces, or as I'm just going to say, power stones because that's what we're used to referring to it. And so basically, it's a conversion of 40. Wait, right? 40? Is it 40?
20. I think it's 20. Someone in chat knows because I don't.
It's 240 total.
It's 240. Yeah, it's 240 to MLB. Total. So 240
and be very careful because it's in the same area you upgrade like books and ingots at.
Oh
so
no!
If you're just like a junkie who sees upgrade and must press button,
you'll have no power stones for your LDs.
yeah. I have managed not to do it. Wow! But, someone's gonna do it.
Someone's gonna do it.
Clip this. Someone's gonna do it and then complain.
Someone's gonna do it.
Okay, I got it.
20.
Okay, thank you, Cross. 20. So basically, high power pieces / stones are basically just 20 times stronger than a regular one. You need the same amount. It's the same process. Same amount of high power stones to MLB a force weapon as you do power stones to MLB. So you need 20 times as many power stones to MLB a force weapon. And you can convert your regular power stones or by selling force weapons, you get a high power stone back because 1/4 the cost of an MLB, right? Like when you sell an MLB weapon, you get 1/4 the cost of the resources invested. So if you sell an MLB force weapon, you get a high power stone back. All you need to know is this is the next tier of power stone. It's a 1 to 20 ratio. That's it. So if you're trying to max Kane with no dupes on just power stones, you need you need 16 normally, and you need 20 times that for the conversion. And all this is encouraging is it's lessening the value of power stones, which I have no problem with.
You need 12 normally.
Yeah. Oh, 12. Sorry. So 12 times 20, so 240. Yeah. So all of this is doing is lessening the power of power stones, which is fine because there's so many hoarders with over 1,000 of them. But it also encourages pulling FR dupes. Now they walk back on this. a month or two into the era.
Just a month.
Yeah, because originally they said you just got to pull more.
Yeah.
And because default player base is just babbies who don't like pulling in a gacha, I think the devs folded and started giving out more high power stones, so this is virtually not an issue anymore. They're rewarded in fights and in choco boards. So
for veterans, I haven't converted a single high power stone in JP to this day.
Yeah, so eventually this is not an issue, but if they keep things the same in JP, that first month, just know that it's supposed to encourage pulling and just converting your power stones from a 1-to-20 ratio. That's it.
I think it's also important to note that the FR weapon, the pity rate is 100,000 or 400 G tokens. So it's higher. It's higher than an LD. LD is 300 G tokens or 75,000 gems. The FR is 100,000. So if you do want to chase a fully MLB FR weapon, it is a 400,000 gem investment.
Players pull the dupes.
Yeah, that's for pity, but also the pull chance is equal to LDs.
Pull chance is equal to LD. So
dude, my buddy was pulling for Jesse today, and he got like 5 FRs and 1,000 tickets and no LD.
Yeah, it's still it's still
so the nightmare scenario is just worse.
Yeah, it's still the same. Like if you're like luck sacking LDs or whatever, it's still about like a 300 ticket average. It's not the end of the fucking world. The pity is higher, yes, but the chances are the same. So just you're gonna see FRs as often as you see LDs right now.
Thanks, Fost Trick Play for the resub. I'm back, baby. Good to see you. Glad to have you here. No, yeah, and if you go watch the pull videos for, BC's got pull videos, 40's got pull videos.
About 10 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, people get the FR weapons, and so I'm gonna make a whole video about some ideas in terms of pull strategies at the most conservative level, but. Yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, I don't think people need to be... There are some worst-case scenarios that can happen that will get worse, and there always has been. Like, right now, the worst-case scenario is you got to go 200,000 to get the BT and the LD. That's going to get worse. Like, if you really want to, chase Braska or chase Kane and you don't have any of Kane, like there's some weird worst case scenarios. The likelihood of that happening very, very rare. And at that point you can be encouraged to mix tickets and gems, because why the hell not?
Yeah. Okay, that wraps that up. And then we've got I'm getting a little tipsy. Sorry. Let me read properly. How do you get them? Okay, we covered that. Okay, last one.
You pull. You go to draws, and then you look, and you see a thing with FR. Now, to be fair, the FR, especially for this first banner, the FR will be on multiple banners, but Kane's BT will not be on every banner with his FR. So you do want to pay attention to which banner you're pulling on, depending on what weapons you need. Because there will be a banner with a new FR and a new BT. And if you're trying to pull on the Warrior of Light banner, it could be bad for you. So pay attention, like you should anyway.
Yeah. And then the last one is, how does this change gameplay player approach? I think we already discussed that as well. Is basically this era is more team focused, period. And I got nothing to add to that unless BC
beyond kits and role filling, because a lot of people like to hyper focus on putting characters in boxes, like tank, healer, but how they go about doing that is way more important now. For example, because I always talk about the HP pluses, because I like using Aerith FR a lot. But one reason I don't like using Ignis when I run Aerith FR and I'm choosing to invest in Penelo early on is because Penelo has 3 HP attacks on her HP attack and is not high turn rate. I don't want Ignis speeding up. I don't want them taking all the turns. I want someone slower taking the turn. So that minor difference can make a world of difference in your runs. Small stuff like that really starts to matter. Or maybe I'm not interested in Kryle's FR, but Kryle is the only pure Thunder party enchant call. I have Ash for Thunder enchant. Or I have Garnet for Thunder enchant. No, you don't, because you got Water and Holy on top of it, and that might lock you out of some stages. So the second order thinking is really what is going to be necessary to evaluate banners. And sometimes you might not be interested in the FR. Maybe the LD is on there. It could enable a run down the line. Stuff like that really becomes more important. The nuance.
Yeah, so the should you pull videos are going to be hilarious, and not particularly useful.
I may or may not be bringing my videos back.
Still be making videos though. Kale says, isn't it 300 G tokens for 4 high power stones or whatever we're calling them? So grabbing the dupe with 400 G tokens is a bad idea. That was not initially in JP, as we said. They kind of backpedaled and added that in later. So we'll see if we get it. If we get it early, yeah, then that does offer some nice options for us. If not, we'll probably have to wait a while. And there's no guarantee we'll get it either. I mean, they may say, screw you, GL, and then we'll fight about it, and then we'll get it because they'll cave. But we don't know. There's no guarantee that we will or will not get anything because that's what they always say. So stay tuned.
Oh, yeah. TV saying gauge charges. Something I forgot to say earlier is that with force enhancements, I feel like they kind of like group characters in. Their original thing is all support characters charge gauges faster. So Braska is a great gauge charger. Cryo, Pinello, Ignis, people are already talking about. Like these characters whose roles are largely support, I think the original theory was that their support, part of their support in force era is charging the gauge very fast. So yes, just assume support characters are going to charge faster. So please, guys, if you're making SYP videos, stop saying this guy's a gauge charger. People can just assume that if they support, they're going to fucking do it, especially if they have like instant heal or buff turns. I think BC already talked about what he wanted to talk about in the pre-show, which is basically the distinction of you can't just say skip tank X tank for Y tank or skip X DPS for Y DPS. It's going to be this tank has evasion to tick up force conditions, another one has battery, and another one has heals. Consider that and your current roster.
Differences have always mattered. They just matter a lot more now.
Yeah, they matter a lot more. I feel like this is going to be great for the hipster challenge runners. But again, if you don't want to think about it, you can just follow the meta Tifa Renoa cam list or whatever.
Well, yeah, and you may not like BC was saying, Cryo may not be somebody you're interested in right now, but she might be somebody that could enable a character down the road. Likely, there will be some repeats, but maybe there's not. And so that's, it's not like a character coming back and getting a rework and grab them then. If you really like some lightning characters down the road, you might want to consider picking up some of these early lightning characters that are gonna help. And so, I mean, that's kind of big brain thinking. You probably don't need to worry about it, but it does make you stop and think and actually kind of look at what the character does, because anything the character does can potentially add to an FR phase, add to a team, which has always been the case.
It's only going to get more and more detailed, and there's more and more options, because now Jesse's FR is related to turn manipulation and something that Sephi does a lot. Shout out to Sephi on YouTube. He runs Balthier with Vincent a lot, just because it's Balthier's got a boost for range damage. So minor stuff like that. Just it goes both ways. If you want to use a character, but they don't have an FR, look for FRs that enable the character you want to run. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, and then I guess we're pretty much done, unless BC you wanted to revive that conversation about the shitty people trying to skip Kane FR now. I don't know.
It's just I said it last ranting hours. I've been doing this for so long that I've seen people who don't plan to do something and then they think it's easier than it is, and they raise pull.
Too many people pull and or invest in Vincent BT just for T9. Y'all are weak. Don't pretend you guys regularly run without Garnet or Synergy.
It's just amusing. It happens every time. But the same people don't learn from the fact that they perceive things wrong. I'm perceiving the whole Shinryu easy gauge charge kill crowd on Reddit. That's going to be like, oh wait, it's not. There's a bit more to it sometimes. Sometimes there's not. there's more of the game, and then there's also going to be people who are going to say that it's boring but then refuse to play something else. And those people drive me insane.
Timothy Herr is asking, is Kane BT viable without
wait,
the
wait,
FR?
Mino, did Timothy pay money? Why are you answering? Why are you answering questions for free? No, it is a good question. Is Kane BT viable with or without? There's a lot of conversation.
Let's not lose that in the weeds.
Yeah.
Kane is like an evergreen unit with his BT. His FR is objectively ages poorly pretty much as soon as the synergy ends. And I've been saying I'm going to get it just so I can have an easier time on those fights. And I'm a veteran with a lot of resources, and I also spend money on the game, so it wouldn't hurt me. So I wouldn't advise anyone pick up Kane's FR, but we're specifically calling out the people that are very gung ho that we know that are bad at the game. who are going to
most of you guys. As I was saying, I don't remember if it was on the podcast or the ranting hour that I was on last time. T9 brought out a lot of tough guys who talked shit about being good at the game and needed at least 2 of the featured characters, whether that's Green Vincent or Galuf or Realm or something or Sephiroth. A lot of tough guys,
the hard stage. There's nothing wrong with doing it.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with doing it. It's just realize your capabilities. If you can't do something like that without the featured synergy characters, do you really think you're going to enter FR smoothly without an FR character? Right? It's the same fucking difference.
We do have some. You wanted to answer some podcast questions, Mino?
Oh yeah. I think we. Let's see what we already covered. And
let me hit on the Kane BT part.
Yeah, please.
Specifically, just real quick, because the real value in Kane, he's got a real simple BT effect. It's just that he's got a ridiculous HP cap up for the party and himself, and HP cap scales multiplicatively with force damage. So to make that simpler, it gets better the more force you're doing. And Kane, I've talked up about how these calls can make a big difference. The benefit of Kane is he's doing damage and he delays himself. So again, my friend I was talking to, he's like, Kane is so good because enabling these Beatrix runs, because he can hold that Ash call for the entire fight because he's just in the air the entire fight.
I heard that core power creeps Kane though, and Freya's better with less investment.
I don't know what to say to that. Legitimately speechless. Are level 300 fights possible without FR units?
They're possible. As we said earlier, we talked about this earlier, Evil.
Not advisable.
Yeah, if you want to watch it, it is something that is physically possible, but it's usually pulled off by the cream of the crop players. I would not recommend an average player tackle that shit at all.
And it's going to take some time.
Super sweaty runs.
Yeah, it's going to take some time.
I remember the no FR run was. I remember it was Realm, Edge, and Garnet LD, and I think they were all blue with Ultima weapons or something crazy like that. And it took 40 minutes.
Yeah, it was long. It was long. Yeah.
Do you want that? Is that what you want? Is hoarding the resources more important than stressing over a run? Not me. That's why I'm going to get Kane's FR. So I don't have to, because I did that. I slammed my head against that fight for quite a bit, determined not to do it without pulling. And then I ended up maxing Kane's FR.
But to go back to that Kane thing, Kane FR without the BT, not a great idea.
Horrible idea.
Get the BT. Get the BT first. Hopefully you get the FR. You'll be good to go.
Yeah, and it's a really stupid. Now that I'm thinking back about it, history repeats itself, right? BC's saying there's going to be a lot of people. This is the first tuning pass they've seen, or power creep.
Yeah.
But this is a fucking thing we've seen 50 times already in Defo. When Chaos came, you can say Cloud is the worst EX, but he was invaluable.
But everybody got it. Yeah.
Past the hump. Yeah. And when BTLDs first came, everyone said Squall was the worst
so
one,
bad.
but he made the transition so much easier. People just don't understand how invaluable is a character. I think Excalibur was saying there's so many people who pull a character they use once or twice and throw them away. Having a character that makes life so easy for the first 2 weeks or a month is so invaluable, so much more value than so many characters that people pull. People just don't get it. The transition character is always infamously strong for being making the transition smooth. Every era we see this. Every fucking era. Cosmos, it was Wall, remember? Like
he stayed broken though.
Every released character, every first character of that tuning pass is a fucking godsend and should be ranked high.
Is that true for everything? I want to prove you wrong just because I can.
Should go for it, but I think so. And I think the only reason people don't realize this is because all these idiots are looking 8 months into the future. And
I remember when we were mid garbage time in JP and people were looking at all the C90 reworks and saying, "Oh my god, the numbers are out of control." And guess what we were saying when FR started?
Yeah, that's what
oh my god, the numbers are out of control.
Yeah, like the problem is people compare current GL to like future JP for some fucking reason. They'll be like, Kane has the worst FR out of all the FRs from now till JP. No shit. He's
the first one.
He's the first one, you fucking idiots.
Now I'm gonna push back on that and say it's considerably worse. That's not
fair,
hyperbole.
But that's another that's a story for another time, because I believe that I was arguing in another Discord today because people are like, what were they thinking with the first 2 weeks of the FR cycle? They're like, all these FRs only increased to a max of what, like a 200% bonus. And I was like, think about how large that jump is.
That's not true, by the way.
Is it higher?
That's also not true. You could get Braska and Cryo way higher. People were already figuring out the dead skill shenanigans then.
Yeah. But I think the average player was napkin mathing it and saying, oh, it's like 200% tops. And then Cam comes out and he can hit 800%. Well, first of all, I think in natural progression, 200%, that is a 200% multiplier to your HP damage and your HP cap. Garnet doesn't even give that much, and she's like used all over the fucking place. And then it's only a 10 million HP.
Have we forgotten that they make giant balance mistakes and then catch the rest of the roster up like frequently?
Yeah, and so
Tifa LD question mark?
Yeah,
that was a thing that happened. Memory of Goldfish, Jesus Christ.
So basically, like, people are looking at it, they're like, what were the devs smoking? The first week is like 200% increase. First of all, 200% is a huge increase. But second of all, the only reason it doesn't seem big is because they fucked up with Cam, and that's going to be a topic for.
We got a whole show on that. Yeah, that's going to be super fun.
They fucked up on Cam. There's so many people who are saying, how do people say they fucked up on Cam? How do we know? Like, maybe that was intentional.
Look at Dash.
Listed.
Look at Dash. That's how you know.
It was listed. It was listed in known bugs. Cam's effect is listed in known bugs, and it was never repeated ever again. It was a bug, guys. It was a mistake. And
they couldn't get the dash in time, and then Titus got a last-minute rework.
Yeah, Titus got reworked to match Cam. Like, Cam was a mistake. That is a fact. And the thing is that after him, it was just an arms race to make everyone else viable. So there's nothing wrong with the first 2 weeks. In fact, in an alternate timeline, they
were fine.
They actually fixed Cam. And imagine if 200% was the average force bonus for like 2 months, and then increased to like 300, then 400. Like, we had a very gradual increase throughout the force era. Instead, what we have is a 200% bonus for the first 2 weeks, then 800 for the rest of the 8 months. And so, like, there's nothing wrong with these characters. It's just that they fucked up and they course corrected. And 200% is a huge bonus. Everyone's saying, don't pull the 200% bonus because an 800% bonus is coming, but you're still going to get fucked up if you don't do it because the new era is tuned to the 200%.
So do we think, and again, feel free if you want to super chat, Twitch sub, if you want to ask your questions because we're talking. Do we expect any changes? Now, generally speaking, we don't get it. We get it. We copy paste what JP got. So I'm not anticipating any changes with Cam.
Like the one exception,
but that it has happened, right? So do you either of you expect any changes over the next month in terms of what happened with Cam and all that kind of stuff?
Nope. Absolutely not.
Nope.
Absolutely not.
If they didn't change garbage time, they're not changing this.
True.
First of all,
that's good. Yeah.
Facts.
Because garbage time was hated, it still was hated. All they did was they added extra stuff. Instead of tuning the existing stuff, they added extra stuff, which is fine, right? Because tuning is probably a lot of work. They probably just said, let's make 1 or 2 fights a month, throw that out there, call it a day. It did the job. It was a good enough job. I was pretty happy for it. I don't think they're going to fix Cam because they've already established the meta.
Yep.
GL players would freak out if they don't get what JP players get. That's number 2. And number 3 is Cam kind of changed how FR works, arguably for the better. Because in that initial Ope Ope, they said that they envisioned a full team of force weapons down the line.
Oh,
which is like 4 to 6 force times a fight, and the gauge would charge slower. First of all, that sounds like a nightmare.
That sounds terrible.
If
90 minutes fights,
4 to 6 force times, that's like what, 100 turn fights.
Those are long fights.
So and force charge slower in the first month too.
Yeah, exactly. Like they originally said, guys, the force gauge is going to charge really slow in the beginning because it's built for 3 force weapons, right? Like a full team of force weapons. It's like LDs. Eventually, they wanted you to have a full team of the new weapon. So they're like, yeah, gauge charges a lot slower, and you're expected to use 6 force times. So that could have been a fucking nightmare because fights could have taken forever. What Cam did was it changed the meta into, instead of a full team of force weapons and 6 force times, it's 1 or 2 giant force times, right? And I think that might have been a change for the better.
So Tree Void is saying, hey, all of the fights in Kane Cycle are permanent content, and as we like to often remind people, you don't have to clear the content the first night. So if you do want to wait till Cam, and assuming we get Cam, you're going to be okay.
Assuming that these people can drive Cam. By the way, that's a whole different can of worms. Almost a cam of worms. Jesus
that's a camel, not a worms.
A kid running around somewhere.
That's a camel, not a worms.
Oh my god! Please, I'm begging.
Oh,
that's gonna be funny too. By the way,
Dad Nero over there.
No, absolutely not. Do not read that into existence. Stop.
Oh.
Okay, so to our quick couple of questions before we close. So this one's for Mark.
Yeah.
Be Lucky saying, going into the FR era, what are the plans for podcast schedulings and video content for TCC Podcast and Mark?
Wow. Yeah, we are planning to do weekly podcasts, which we have done now. Obviously we'll take breaks when we need to, depending on what's going on in our personal lives, but because the world's open and there's things going on, right? So we're planning to do weekly podcasts. We are starting season 4 next week. Or season 5, excuse me, we're on season 5. So we are starting a new season, new layouts, all that kind of, so it's going to be awful for a while until I get it all figured out. And then, hopefully I will start doing some videos again, because I just haven't had any desire to really do any videos. So my plan will be to do some videos here, hopefully this week. And even uploading polls, I've been like, I don't fucking care. I just don't. I'll upload my Kane polls for sure, and then I'll probably save we'll do like a sub campaign for Braska if you want me to pull for Braska or something stupid like that I wouldn't normally want to do. So we'll play by that. So that's the plan. There you go.
Okay.
Thank you for asking.
I just like this.
And the next one, I think this is a hard one, but now that Mouse and several others, I'm consolidating this question, guys, because you all asked different versions of it, is that now that Lufania Plus era is closing out, what were your favorite and least favorite moments of Lufania?
Least favorite gem cap.
Yeah, gem cap. Hashtag gem cap.
Easy.
Gem cap sucked. I agree.
Easy.
Best moment, the month of, I think it was the anniversary month where we got 3 GL exclusive events. Best part of the era.
And then we went immediately downhill.
Yeah, it was not great after that, but that was awesome. So props to the team. 3 back-to-back GL exclusive events. Very cool.
GL, the GL firsts were fucking amazing. But best overall for Lufania, I still think Lufania orbs are a good mechanic. I feel like only babbies cry about Lufania orbs.
Hey, they're not going anywhere. You can just do regular Lufania.
Yeah, but so many people hated Lufania as an era because of the orbs. I feel like they were a good mechanic. I really think I like my RPGs with some conditionals like that. Instant kill conditionals are exciting. I really feel that. As for worst moments, then I'll pass it back to you guys again. Garbage time. This was the longest garbage time in the game's history. I am still pretty mad at you for that, Squex. Make the game harder. Like, top difficulty endgame, like Lufania instant kill mechanics for endgame, or force time instant kill mechanics, which it doesn't really have. For endgame, that's perfectly fucking acceptable. Most endgames for most games demand mastery, right? Like, you're not gonna do, like, let's say Devil May Cry or Metal Gear Revengeance or even like MMO rating on the highest difficulty without mastering the systems. Like, you need to know what everything does. The biggest complaint, because default player base is babbies, is I can't use my favorites like Lion Saga in the Lufania.
That excuse is going away now.
It's so fucking shitty. You can like, the end game is the mastery. You can do that for the rest of the fucking game. You guys are not entitled to an end game clear. Any other game you play, the end game demands mastery of mechanics. So I think like Lufania orbs requiring very specific ways to beat them is fine. That's mastery of the mechanics. I don't understand the complaint for it. I hate all of you guys, and I'm sad it's going away. I hope Shinryu Plus comes back with the force gauges and the orbs. Yeah.
Or some new and better.
Least favorite thing about Lufania, Mark?
Didn't we already say the gem cap? We had a whole like, that was a whole like 3 months.
Although
that gave us content. That did give us content. So yeah, I mean, garbage time, I guess, kind of sucked.
And then last question this time. We'll save the rest for
Wow, you're not gonna ask me? That's crazy.
Oh, I thought you said gem cap already.
Forgot me. You're not gonna ask me about the best moment?
I thought you said gem cap already.
I said best moment, stupid.
Best moment.
I thought you meant both.
Okay, the best and the worst.
I actually don't know. I just
best of times.
All right.
Jagron cycle or Jagron.
I think it would probably be Zach LD and actually using him properly in Lufania and not passing him over like I did in JP. That was the Zach plus Maria combo gave me a lot of enjoyment.
That was the tiers BC tier video. Watching Zach BT finisher. That was my favorite moment of the era. Although that was in JP.
Oh, that was a thing. Oh yeah, that was a rough day. I remember because like the spoiler came out. People kept telling me like, "Yo, it's wild," and I'm like, "It can't be that wild," and then it was that wild. I fell out of my chair.
Yeah, that was some ugly crying. Yeah.
And then finally, JD Terraforce says FFRK just announced end of service global for today. This was right when the show started.
Yes.
How long do we think DissidiaFFOO has left? Let me throw out some figures real quick.
Yeah,
and
please.
then I'll pass it around. But
I was reading the Reddit, by the way, and they were like, "Oh, so they were just not going to catch up to JP."
Yeah.
Yikes.
And so like Redbeard was in the pre-show. He was like, "Why are they shutting FFRK down, guys? It didn't make money. FFRK was averaging across both versions, maybe 200 to 300K a month.
Oh wow."
Jeez.
Wow.
And it lived off of that for over half a year.
Oh wow.
So it was everybody who was following the figures knew it was next. It was next.
Oh, I didn't realize it had dropped that bad. Wow.
Yeah.
I haven't played it for 4 years, but yeah.
Yeah, so it was making anywhere between 200 to 300K across both versions for over 6 months.
And it's in its seventh or 8th year in JP, I think. So.
Is it 7th? I thought it was 6th, but if it's 7th, I'd believe it. Yeah, it's like 2. I thought it was like 2 years ahead of DissidiaFFOO, 1 or 2. But DissidiaFFOO is not that low yet, but it has been consistently falling. We're averaging about 1.7, 1.8 mil across both versions right now, which is, it's all right. Like, it sounds high, but DissidiaFFOO is probably like the second or third worst performing Squex gacha right now. I think we're beating out Brave Exvius right now, but it's very close. It's very close, and Exvius has a few years on us. RK ending in the middle of a fucking tuning pass is just lets you know that you're never safe, first of all. And secondly is that so we're not guaranteed to finish out an FR era or whatever comes next. Always remember that.
Just because they promised in Act 4 doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. And I honestly, me personally, I think that we're gonna be lucky if we get more than a year after this next anniversary. That's a little doomer, but that's about how old FFRK is before it fell off. Plus, as somebody who's been tracking the sales religiously every month, we're in a constant free fall for sure. Like JP was always above a certain point. It literally gets less every month. Same with GL, even no matter what shenanigans they pull. And last month was the first time JP fell under 1 million a month. And this was when people were panicking when it was at 1.2 million in the beginning of the year. So we are in a free fall. I think it's inevitable that our player base is getting smaller as systems get more complicated. Tuning passes come less frequently. You know, there's only so many ideas they can really add onto the system. I was talking to Nidre. I'd be very happy if we get another year after the next anniversary. This is a long time to spend with a game, and I feel like the game did very well. But if you asked me if I thought Defo was going to go for another 3 to 5 years, I doubt it. Because once again, I think our only competition right now is Brave Exvius. Defo is averaging 1.7 mil across both versions a month. War of the Visions is like 8 mil a month, guys.
Game, yeah.
And then like you got that FF15 kingdom building game,
which is
like
still stupid.
30 mil a month.
Stupid.
Yeah, like 1.7 mil might sound a lot.
Awful games. Yeah,
but we're
not
like,
good.
We're competing with Brave Exvius for lowest earning gacha game, and Brave Exvius has been out for 2 or 3 years longer.
Final Fantasy Record Keeper was 2014, and Brave Exvius is 2015.
Yeah. So like when an older game is pulling the same numbers as you, it's a little scary, guys. It's a fight for the.
How about First Soldier? How's First Soldier doing?
Man, fuck that game.
Not well. It's not. How's Mo? It's doing about as well as Mobius.
But yeah. So we're still a far cry from FFRK, but we're not far from the chopping block. And again, I say this, but I don't want people to panic because 5 to 6 years is a good run.
Yeah.
And I've enjoyed a lot. And if we get another year on top of this, I'd be very happy.
I mean, besides your most intense MMOs like, EverQuest, World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy 14, like how many games have we been playing for like 6 consecutive years, 7 consecutive years? Even those games, like some people are pretty consistent in those games, but
Metal Gear Rising.
Metal Gear is that something you've been playing for 7 years?
No, I'm kidding. Single player.
I don't know.
That's what I liked it before it was cool.
So yeah, I mean it's that would be a good run, right? I mean if you had the Bleach Brave Souls, there are some gachas that are pushing 7, 8, 9 years, right? But they're pretty big IP gachas.
They're rare,
and they are rare.
For every gacha that survives 5+ years, there's gachas that shut down in 1 or 2 years.
Oh, 100%.
So many Squex gachas have shut down since Defo came and went. Like we already know Mobius didn't last as long.
Beautiful
we know
game.
that the fucking Star Ocean games didn't last as long.
Yep.
There was that Tails gacha. Yeah, the Tails gacha died like instantly. Like there's a lot of gachas that die under 3 years. So to make it as far as Defo has, I would call it a successful gacha. But I would say we're on borrowed time.
Stop playing JP and start spending money in GL. That's
stop hoarding your fucking gems.
Yeah.
And spend some money, you fucking assholes. And stop saying agree the cap and spend some fucking money.
Spend some money.
Yeah, fucking preloading.
The only people we have to blame for the game ending is ourselves. We are the people who spend the money.
Avalon said he looked up the stats for First Soldier. It's about 90K across both.
Ooh,
right,
ouch.
So,
well, that's next on the chopping block.
So we're
on Ever Crisis, you assholes.
We're doing a little better than that, guys.
Yeah.
But basically, still, Defo is about second to third worst performing.
No, and yeah, speaking of the future of the podcast, this will become an Ever Crisis podcast. When that comes out.
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll probably just be done. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But we're here. And we appreciate you all.
The funny thing about First Soldier is that people are like, oh, they're still getting updates. All their updates are the Polygon FF7 skins. Like the most low quality shit you can throw in there. Here's Polygon Cloud. Here's Polygon Vincent. Here's Polygon Zach.
Pure nostalgia baiting.
It's so fucking bad.
And they won't put it on on other things for some reason. It's just classic Square Enix. Classic Square Enix, bro. I swear.
Classic Squax. That is funny. So funny.
It's missing the mark. Oh, annoying. But I'm gonna buy the Deluxe 7 Rebirth or whatever it's called. So.
Yep.
Not like I have any leg to stand on.
You idiot.
Yep. Stupid.
There you go. Hey.
Right.
Well, I think that covers it. You can stick around for the post show if we hang out for a little bit more. But Mino, any closing thoughts as we end the Lufania Plus era and head into Shinryu?
Yeah, man. I don't know. FR era coming. I really think Defo does such a good job. Like, we talk a shit about Squex, and honestly, this is probably like the first Squex game in a long time I've really engaged with.
I'm giving all credit to Team Ninja.
Yeah. But
That's fair.
We talk a lot of shit about Squex. We have a lot of Squex nostalgia, but honestly, like, thinking about it, how many like recent Squex games have a lot of fans? A lot of us are like, this is like Defo's nostalgia bait, right? A lot of this is for us people who enjoyed the older games, the turn-based stuff, the fan service. No matter what happens to Defo, I think it was a fantastic game. And even though I met a lot of you guys in the community that I hate, the game, it's still a positive experience overall. And I look forward to the Force era. I know there's going to be so many fucking people complaining that the Force era is boring. All you have to do is charge the gauge and run cam. You know, like, there's already so many people who run Garnet every fight and say the game is boring. If they quit out, that's fine. You know, don't spend money. But, like, for the people it's there for the hipster challenge runners, it's a fun time. Like, it's a good time. People just aren't probably going to engage with it because it's not necessary to do so. But most of the listeners here, I think you're going to really enjoy the direction of the game. And I'm impressed that they really kept building on the mechanics that they already have.
BC, any closing thoughts and anything you want to sell? Any merch?
I wish. If I do start doing before you pull, like I was looking at my channel metrics earlier this week, and then like literally I stopped growing. It's been just a constant plateau for 3 months.
Yeah,
to stop doing those videos. So I know what you idiots want.
Yeah,
I know every time I ask for ranting or questions, like, who do I pull? Okay, I'm thinking about making a video this weekend with no promises.
There you go. Check out Black Nero on YouTube.
Or don't.
Or don't. That's up to you. It's America.
I want to add a thing.
It's America or another country you live in. Make your own choice. Yeah,
I agree with BC. You know what? I give all the credit to Team Ninja because I realize all the other live action games, like what's that shitty game that bombed instantly from Squex?
Babylon's Fall. Yikes. Isn't there like one person playing it?
Oh my god, it's just shitter after shitter.
Platinum, how could you?
I think we keep forgetting all the bombs that Squex puts out. There's Babylon's Fall, there's the Avengers, there's you know, there's like all these gachas, like, holy shit.
Didn't they have some shooter that didn't do well, or
Outriders?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a thing too.
I'm gonna buy the expansion, so I'm not hating on it because I'm biased. But
people enjoyed it, but not a lot.
Yeah, and but like, you know, like, You're right. This is probably Team Ninja making a good game. God, Squex is on like a 15-year losing streak.
There you go.
Hey, FF16 will be great.
FF16 will be a game. Maybe. That's this
is
putting a lot out there.
Cyberpunk all over again. Everyone said I'm buying Cyberpunk because Witcher was good. Everyone's buying FF16 because Yoshi P works on it and I like FF14, so this new game must be good. Like they're judging it on not its own merit at all, just hype and nostalgia.
People really like Final Fantasy 14.
It's the average FF fan, right?
Oh,
like we keep buying FF games because of nostalgia. They keep releasing $20 pixel remasters.
Keep consuming.
Up, I guess.
Yeah.
What was that meme you love? Don't think, just consume.
Yeah.
Newest product.
Just consume current product and get excited for next product.
Nice. Well, hey, this has been episode 198 of the Crystal Chronicles, your Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia podcast. Last episode of season 4. Season 5 will start next week. Mino and myself. Shout out to BC for joining us. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks for having me, by the way.
Oh, well, thanks for being here.
Thank you for that.
We always... Well, no, thank you. You're bigger than we are at this point.
Am I?
Yeah, it's amazing how the tables turn, right? So we don't do any work and put videos out every day, so you should be bigger than us. And we do. We do appreciate the JP insight as well. Hang around if you're on stream. Thank you all for joining us. We do love and appreciate you all. We'll see you next week, and thank you to our sponsor, Manscaped, TCC Pod at checkout for all your needs. 20% off your order. Manscaped.com. Until next week, friends. Good luck. We'll see you at the stream, and we'll see you next week. All right. We're in the post show. I'm going to pull people down here.
I forgot to say, someone mentioned...
Oh, hold on, Mino. Hold on, Mino. There you go. Try that again.
I said I forgot to say, people mentioned in chat, too, that Squex is trying to embrace NFTs, too, in their future work, so...
That's going to be fun. That's going to be super awesome. The answer to the trivia, apparently I said this on one of the shows, that Eternal Darkness was my favorite video game. It was on GameCube. And it's an amazing game. It's the only game that I've ever played that I liked so much that I beat it 3 consecutive times in a row. Me and my arguably best friend. Hey, person.
Arguably.
Arguably.
Cross wants to join us.
Oh, okay. Hey, Cross.
What's up?
So we got it on GameCube. It's a Cthulhu-esque game where you kind of play through different eras as different things, and there's different endings and stuff. But it's a very horror-esque game, Cthulhu, Lovecraftian kind of game. And we played it. We liked it so much, we played it back to back from beginning to end 3 times. So it's a fun game. I don't think it's been ported on anything. I don't know. They were talking about making a sequel not too long ago. But I don't know whatever happened to that.
What you wish for?
Yeah, no, I don't wish for anything because I don't have time to play console games.
Did you want to say something, Cross?
Oh yeah, so there was something I wanted to talk. I mentioned in the chat when it came to the show, but I'm not sure if you guys were actually looking at it. But I had mentioned something along the lines of like Cam when you guys were talking about Cam or not. I had mentioned something how, like you said, Mina, like when people run like Garnet and stuff, they act like they're good at the game and stuff like that, right? So from what I've seen from other places and stuff, it seems like a lot of people who are pulling Cam are also the same people who were like struggling with tier 10, but also like, because they didn't understand the game. Not tier 9. Oh, fucking not tier 9.
Struggling with tier 9 or looking.
Yeah, struggles. Yeah, and those same people, when they don't have Garnet and they don't have like a overpowered option, they like the Doom post a lot. And so in the video, the FR video me and Blind made, we never mentioned Cam. because the reason why we never mention Cam is because everyone's already got gun for that character, and 2, that character is just a mistake. That character is just an outright mistake.
I plan to play Cam normally. Sometimes.
Sometimes.
I'm not going to deny myself the option, but yeah, I think something that's going under the radar is the fact that there might be people who don't have Kurosame call, and so the setup is going to be a lot harder than it's advertised. But that'll be something we become hip to very soon, I suppose.
Yeah.
All the anti-Kurosame sagas.
Anti-Kurosame sagas.
It's that and like selfie, right? Like I think most veterans have those.
If you don't have Kurosame, then you need to have. If you're driving it, you need to have. I think it's a cater call on the person doing the burst, and you need to have a selfie friend setting up the launches with their debuff. And the margin for error for that is way less because the normal strat is have a Kurosame call on someone else, and then a Reigns LD call on the person driving it. So it's even easier because you have 2 free turn manipulations. So yeah, it becomes substantially more difficult.
Reigns call, interesting.
For the launches, and because that's 2 extra HP attacks.
Yeah.
Not like selfie in the party?
No.
Selfie is a friend. Or selfie as a friend opens some stuff up. But then, if you have selfie as a friend, who's your FR going to be? Because you skipped all of them, Tricky.
Get all the skip off FR people, and then they're gonna wait until like T4 Luna Fred down the line. Like, at least pick up one. Like at least pick up one. Oh wait, the one that got
some dude saying I don't do Transcendence, so I mean that's fine if you don't do it. It's just it's the eternal not as easy as advertised. Same thing happened with Defendia Plus. People are like, I'm not BT plusing anybody, and then they got their shit pushed in. Like, all right, never mind.
And then they complain.
Yep, and same thing happened. I'm not EX plusing everybody, and then they get their shit pushed in. They change their mind.
And then the next step is quitting.
This just happens every single time. Every single time, and it's gonna ramp up again. Oh, Krusty, you've been playing JP. You'll get to be on the other side of it when we get force boards or whatever. And then power spike, and then people are gonna lose their minds again.
Listen, I'm already saving my shit because with no mod pass in JP, I very limited to who I can build. But with the characters I've been getting by with, it's like I'm still having fun with the era. I'm not trying to pull every FR. I think the max only have 10 FRs, 10 FRs. But I've only been using
experience being broke. You learn some stuff.
Yep. Listen, my first Shiryu experience where it was when people were saying it's just charge the gauge and then win. I found that out the hard way. And after that experience, I was like, that's not how this works. And that's when I started having fun with the era.
Yeah. I need to watch a video. Said I would yesterday, but I lie through my teeth daily. But it's in my watch later. It will get watched.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
Yeah, exciting stuff next week. I'm excited to see some of the challenge running tryhards get their hands on some stuff.
Yeah.
Like Goose. I was excited to see what Goose is going to do. And Theological with whoever calls Braska Bruska, that's so funny.
Ew.
I can't explain why that's funny. It cracks me up every time. I don't know. I want to say sign because it's so cringe. It's funny. So that's sine waves wrong with Quinn, not Necklord, because Necklord is just cringe. Period.
Does Necklord still play this game? Is he dead?
Potentially. Well, he's a main chord mod now, so he doesn't play the game.
That's funny.
Oh man, fuck.
That's funny.
Was it a main chord? Bruska? Yeah, Bruska's finally on. That's funny. It wasn't sine wave somehow. As expected. Yeah, I'm just curious to see what some of the creative people do.
Yeah. I want to see what the Ope is next week we're expecting.
Yeah.
I believe so.
And so I would not be fucking surprised. I'm going to call it right now. one of these first cycle units are going to be the first ones reworked.
And it won't be Kane.
Yeah, it's going to be one of these, and then like Cryle or Vraska and the fucking content creators and shit you pulls are going to be like, you know what, pull this for
save
FR
for FR plus.
Spitting.
That's what happened with Squall, right? Remember Squall? Like
happened, yeah.
literally, he got his rework, his BT plus when he hit GL, and people, and then the content creators were like split on
probably Braska Dash or Cryo. Probably Braska because I think it's about time for Eject FR.
Yeah,
it's about time.
Yeah. You're giving Blind Eye hope.
or they could fix the turn hoggers not being so good that they could kick it off with lightning, and they could make it Cryo again.
Yeah, there you go.
This is a perfect time for system reworks. It always seems to be July and February. It looks like every 6 months because LDBT hit Japan in July as well.
Sounds about right.
And like the devs aren't stupid. It happens too many times that 8 months apart, something happens.
The devs aren't stupid, but
and JP.
The talkative part of the player base is.
Yeah.
Memory of Goldfish. I want to go back to my initial FR reactions to see what panned out.
You should just make it a video. You have so much content to work on.
Yeah, but then I have to edit, and I'd rather not.
Weren't there a couple JP content creators that literally like just the first couple weeks of FR, that was it? There's just like, oh yeah, this is great, and then they were just done. so that'll be fun.
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll see how life is.
There's always the new eras where people just bounce.
Yeah,
nothing new.
Not at all.
Always happens.
We lost a good amount of people in GL to garbage time as well, right?
Well, yeah, but not directly because of
I mean, we there was some incidental losses, right? But we've gained a lot of content creators too. I mean, right? I mean, if you there's still a lot. There's not as many people streaming, I would say.
Yeah, we have way less streaming nowadays. I think right now your options are like Chris.
There are less. I mean, there's still a good chunk of streamers.
Guys. What are you talking about?
I mean, there are still a number of streamers out there, so you just got to check it out. But there was a time when you could pretty much search default at any time and find people streaming it. It seems like that's a little less, at least when I jump on and check Twitch.
Yeah, like I told BC as well. Like we're on like year 5, and
world's opening up.
Yeah,
the player base I don't think is gonna grow anymore. It's basically stagnated, and we're just gonna lose people as time goes on. We're gonna lose sales as time goes on. Nothing wrong with that. Very normal for people to move on and not stick with a game this long. It's just that
we're the crazy ones.
Yeah, it's just that like Defo shutting down in the next year or two is not like unfeasible. I could see it happening. I'm perfectly at peace with it. It's just that we need to accept that we're an older game. We're not growing anymore.
Yeah,
we already hit our peak. We're past the hill. We're middle aged, man. We're it's all downhill from here, which is fine. That's just aging.
Damn. Jesus. That make me feel old.
Yeah. we are an aging community.
Oh God. Are we the touch ones? No.
You guys already got a taste of old age. You guys are already be like, oh fuck, we played JP, we're seeing it happen in GL. Like, do people not remember the old cycles? Like, you guys have been around for several cycles already.
No.
That's telling.
The answer is no. Nothing is ever remembered. Memory's a superpower. The ability to remember longer things that happen to you and not immediately move on to consuming the next product.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Any personal thoughts on FR you want to add, Cross?
Cross wasn't around for the beginning of the era. So
wait, really?
I wasn't around for the beginning. The thing is, I started around. Wait, was it Tifa?
Pretty sure it was Tifa.
not sure, but because the way I would do it is I would watch other people's videos and then gather my information from that. And then when I actually started playing the Shimryu era or FFRK, making a JP account, that's where I started actually experiencing it and having my own opinion on it than rather seeing what everyone else was saying. Because the first month wasn't really a good impression of that. Cam kind of
first months are never good.
Yeah, they're never good, honestly.
Remember how Lufenia started and then like they tweaked it a couple months later and they made it like orbs were not always being insta kill. Like that was the thing people started later probably.
And then and then in the month after that they were all like insta kill.
Brave game reductions, they introduced that a couple months down the line. Like they've just constantly been tweaking.
Yeah, so. But as for every FR that's coming down the line, I mean, depending on who you're pulling, just go for that FR, honestly. Like, I'm seeing a lot of people saying, like, skip till this FR and skip till that FR. I'm not pulling FR till the second month. And by the time you get to the second month, I hope you enjoy sitting there with your phone on fire with 50-minute runs that you probably won't be able to record because there's not that much phone data, not phone data, phone storage on your thing.
No, I get the 128 gigs.
Yeah, come on. you guys don't have like 512 or 516 on your phones. What kind of cheap ass phones you running? No.
Getting that much storage was a good investment. I don't ever have to think about it.
Yeah.
It's true.
But I also record on my computer. So
we also have jobs, BC. And income.
Helps.
And income.
That is helpful.
Disposable income, savings, bank accounts.
Yes, multiple bank accounts.
So many bank accounts.
Mina, weren't you going to argue with me about that, about the whole multiple bank account thing?
I have so many bank accounts.
What was that? What were we arguing about bank
accounts?
It
was something about like having different bank accounts for different purposes. You remember that? That was in the supporters channel.
Okay, I think because so somebody was asking for financial advice, and Mark said have a separate bank account for bills, and
I was like, why would you do that?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't spend it.
So, but yeah, what was
I can see the reasoning behind it now, though, because I underestimated how difficult it isn't. Just don't spend. It's like just saying move AFMOUS turns behind reins.
Right.
At what point are we asking too much of the bank accounts?
Like I said, I got a wake-up call where I offended somebody this year, our age. So like not like older than BC, like close to the our age mark. I offended somebody by saying I don't understand how people don't understand the concept of credit and credit cards, right? Like, just spend within your means. I was like, why is this? I said, why is this such a hard concept for people to understand that you have to pay credit back and that you don't just get infinite free money? And I offended some woman. This was at a dinner, and she was like, you got to check your privilege because, first of all, financial knowledge is passed down by parents, so so it's not everybody gets the same financial education, and that it is an abstract concept, and the majority of human beings have trouble with abstract concepts. So apparently, I am wondering, like, I guess I'm out of line to assume that people can grasp abstract concepts. I guess credit is too high level a concept to assume people can understand. I guess. I'm not sure if I'm in the wrong here, because, BC always says you live in a bubble in LA, so I don't know if I'm actually... Yeah, like, is that really, like, asking too much of people to understand the concept of credit? I guess. I don't know.
I have a higher bar. I don't know. She just thinks less of people. I don't.
Sam says my wife and I have our own discretionary accounts and a shared account for bills and expenses. Yeah, that's not bad.
I mean, I can see the reasoning behind it, and if it helps, it helps. I just don't spend.
Right. Like I think what BC's saying is why do you need a separate account to do that? And like the reason is people can better visualize that, I guess, because they don't have that level of self-control.
It's not necessarily about self-control, it's just about access. So I have an account, I have a checking account that all my bills, so all my income comes into and all my bills are paid from that checking account. And I have a debit account on top of that. So the bill account, the account that just pays bills, does not have a debit card to it. So that can only be accessed by me entering info into like, ongoing charges, that kind of stuff. So no one's stealing my debit card and having that. And there's when we set this up quite many years ago before we got married, there was not as many safeguards as there are now. Like now your debit card's very, very safe. Like
that makes sense.
Nobody's going to take my, if my bill account had $50,000 in it, no one's going to be able to get a debit card and just use that tomorrow, right? There are safeguards against that, but that was the idea, that larger chunk of money is not accessible. And then I just put kind of what I need in the debit card. Unfortunately, I don't hardly ever use my debit card.
I was going to say,
just put everything on the credit card.
Yeah, it's always better to use the credit card.
I just put everything on the credit card. Yeah.
We're not really making money with inflation.
But the other thing is, early on, so I mean, I've talked about this before. When my wife and I got married, I was making base income for my profession, and she was working third shift ICU nurse. She was making a lot of money.
Oh dear.
So I mean, she was making 3-4 times what I was making. To give you some sense of that. And so then as we got kids, 3 kids came into our life, she started working less and less until the point where she was not working at all. And so our only income was my income. So when we went from a fairly large income to a fairly small income, we really had to nickel and dime and really be more intentional about. It's kind of like DeFo resource management. The less you have, the more intentional you have to be about paying attention to what you're spending. Whereas now we have a lot more money, and we still should be, right? Because the more intentional you are, the more you can save, the more you can make your money work for you, all that kind of stuff. But I also like to go out and eat sushi and drink beer and stuff, so I like to use my money and enjoy it, just like I like to use my gems and pull on things. So see, DeFo is teaching you how to live life, except it's not for anybody.
No,
it's not at all.
I don't think DeFo's gonna teach you how to spend an unhealthy amount of your time on one thing. I don't think that's gonna be the case.
Honestly, a lesson that I learned after years in this community and with BC's help is that people can be really competent in one area and then not apply any lessons they learned to anywhere else.
The halo effect. You assume that it will carry over.
It's mind-boggling, and he's shown me so many examples. My eyes seriously have opened up. I learned this lesson from this community, is that just because somebody can do something in one area, they are not always able to apply it in other areas of their life. So like you can be good with your resources and budgeting and DeFo and be shit in real life budgeting. And I'm like, whoa, it blows my mind. Or like, we've seen so many examples of the community of someone being good at like one particular strategy and then not being able to apply that to other fights or like other areas of their life. Like
I get lost really like navigation wise, and it confuses people. Like, aren't you like smart? I'm like, yeah, but I can't read a map to save my life. It's really bad.
Well, it's like people say like, oh, this person was a brain surgeon, they must be super smart in everything, and so let's elect them for office. Yeah, brain surgeons are freaking mechanics. Like they're really good at one thing.
Yeah.
They're not, just because you're a rocket scientist doesn't mean you're good at every single thing or intelligent in every single thing.
It's like engineers who can't.
See, that's like that's next level you're talking about. I'm saying there are people, I guess, not intelligent enough to learn a lesson and apply it elsewhere. If that makes sense. Like that's even worse. Like it's like hey, I can understand addition or subtraction and multiplication in this instance, but when you change rocks for like apples, I'm lost. And I've seen so many examples of that in this community, and it blows my fucking mind.
That's like the that's kind of like the SpongeBob meme, right? Where they're or there's several memes for that, like friends and trying to explain something to people, and they just like, oh yeah, I get it, and then you're like, no.
Oh yeah, the Patrick one.
Yeah, Patrick, or it's Joey from Friends. There's a couple different versions of them. Yeah. No, but that's life, obviously. Yeah, people, yeah, I can meticulously plan out all of my maths and books and everything else in DissidiaFFOO and plan for the future, and I can track out 6 months or a year. But yeah, I'm bankrupt. I got $20,000. Yeah. By the way, what at least by one thing that I was looking at, what state do you think has the highest average amount of credit card debt?
New York.
Any guesses, Mino? Cross?
I have no idea.
What BC said.
New York.
LA?
Well, LA's not a state.
It's probably not
California.
It's probably something you wouldn't think.
No,
it's probably some.
It's freaking Alaska. By a lot. By a lot. Alaska and Hawaii.
What was the metric, by the way? What was the number?
So the number is 7758. So 77.
No, I mean, 77 whatever of what?
Average credit card debt. So average person's credit card debt. 7700.
So on average on average that state is the highest number of debt.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
Correct. Yeah.
There's Alaska jokes to be made there, but
that makes sense because Alaska and Hawaii are basically like the Australias of America.
True.
And that's where we send all our hopeless
dregs
population. Yeah. I've never met dregs.
The dregs of society live in Alaska and Hawaii.
I've never met
beautiful Alaska and Hawaii, where people go to vacation. It's where we send undesirables.
I've never met anyone competent from Alaska ever. I've never met anyone competent from Alaska, and Hawaii is. I think people don't understand that, like, although Hawaii is a great vacation destination, the crime rate and poverty rates are crazy through the roof.
Yeah,
those things don't make the news.
It's like any huge touristy place, right? What's another like Hong Kong? Like Hong Kong.
Anywhere there's a Club Med. Yeah.
Yeah, enormous.
You getting robbed?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, Alaska sucks. They're not good at anything. I think they're number 50 out of 50 in every category for states.
Would not surprise me.
They got those good towns where it's dark for 3 months where the vampires can go. That's nice.
Can you imagine anyone going to their choice school in Alaska?
No.
There are schools in Alaska?
I don't know.
Is there universities?
I really hope
are there universities?
I really hope.
Are you speaking from experience?
I mean, there's got to be a University of Alaska, right? Like in Juneau or whatever the state. What's the state capital of Alaska?
I don't know. Isn't that where we send all our deep oil miners?
Got any Alaskans?
Oh.
Alaska's where you take a cruise. I know that. Sea whales. Anchorage. Thank you. That is a town in Alaska. Yes, that I've heard of. Alaska, Anchorage. Thank you. University of Anchorage. There you go.
Is that a good school?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm a long way. You're a lot closer to Alaska than I am. I'm a long way from Alaska. Well, that may not actually be true. Yeah.
The only thing I know about Alaska is there's a lot of movies made where that's where serial killers escape to.
I know you can see Russia from certain parts of it. So
interesting.
There's that. I heard that a politician used to say that. We'll see Russia from my backyard, it is actually pretty close. It is the furthest I guess the furthest east part of Russia to the western part of Alaska. It does get pretty close at one point. A lot closer than you think, but like nobody lives anywhere near that, that area. It's a barren, horrible wasteland. So, yeah. Alasking too much of the player base. Oh, good night. Good night. Good night. Good night.
600.
Someone banned Soundwave.
That was Soundwave? I'm not surprised.
That was Soundwave.
I was going to mention it, but I'm like, I'm just going to let someone else read that.
Yin said all 3 Alaskan viewers would be mad if they were able to use their computers, or if the internet, was keeping up, and they, could, comment at a appropriate time. So,
and Soundwave from my channel for that one.
All right, boys and girls, mostly boys tonight. Anything else as we end our time together?
I look forward to your coverages on the new era across NBC on your own channels moving next week.
Me too.
Yeah.
Promise nothing.
There we go.
All right.
Promise nothing.
Promise nothing. Damn it! I wanted to screenshot that.
Promise nothing.
Said. With my new format, the way I'm doing things, it's actually much easier for me to do videos and stuff, because I mentioned it before, I think on a stream one day, where there was a while ago where I was struggling to do guides for some odd reason. And my videos will end up on like 30 minutes to talk about an event and a character, but now I've trimmed it all the way down to like an average of 12 minutes.
Yep.
So it's much getting progress, much better growth. And yeah, overall, I can't wait for this next era, dude, because I'm tired of fucking garbage time. I'm tired of it. Experiencing it made me not want to experience it again.
There you go.
Oh, actually, one more thing I didn't want to mention. I know BC has the games already, but if you are still interested, the Steam Summer Sale is still going on. So if you want to still get the Gumball games, this is like the 4th time they've been on sale. You can definitely get them.
Okay, let me go check out what they cost right now.
Yeah, just work on them.
Right, thanks, Cross.
No problem. I spent like $50 today buying games.
That's the trap. That's why you just don't check Steam.
Yeah, that's I see sales and I'm just like, oh shit, because I bought the new TMNT game.
Is that on sale?
Yeah, it's on sale.
All right, I gotta buy the remake again. Thanks for reminding me.
Anything else, BC? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Cross.
I bought that. I bought I'm trying to think what else. Oh, I bought RE Village, because I didn't play Village yet.
Have you played the second remake?
What are you talking about?
Resident Evil 2 remake.
No, I've not played RE2.
I like telling people about that game because it made me scream like a little girl. I've never been scared. Yeah, no, I legitimately scared.
You might still be able to watch my stream of Village on Twitch.
Yeah, you're right. That wasn't bad.
That was rough. Yeah.
Wait, okay, I'm not crazy. FFRK ran 7 years and some change.
Yeah.
DissidiaFFOO is on 5 years some change, right? Okay, so it's 2 years ahead. Okay, 2 years older, because I thought you were saying like 3 or 4. It's 2 years. All right. So that, like I said,
when 2014.
Yeah, when DissidiaFFOO hits 7 years, I'd be surprised if it gets any more time as well.
Yeah. Big Nation, thank you for summon. Appreciate it. All right. Oh, it says TMNT free on Game Pass. There you go.
Oh, it's also free on Game Pass too. Yeah,
get it on the
Game Pass is a scam. I'm not subscribing.
Game Pass is a scam.
I'm not adding any more fucking subscriptions. Plus, it's only you can only access it until it's off Game Pass, right? Because games.
Yeah.
Wait, is that the new? Is that the new side scroller?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather own a game forever than subscribe to a fucking service. Fuck you guys.
Yeah, I converted a Tree Void to the Gumball games now. Now I need to convert everyone else. Once done with Defo,
there you go.
still Gumball.
All right.